FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Football is officially back in Foxborough this morning as the Patriots get ready to hold their first practice of training camp under new head coach Gerard Mayo. The workout begins at 11 a.m. behind Gillette Stadium and is open to the public. Everyone has reported, and that includes Matthew Judon and Devon Godchaux, both of whom are looking for new contracts. Our live coverage of camp begins at 10 a.m. with Zolak and Bertrand here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Also, offensive linemen Cole Strange and Jake Andrews, Kendrick Bourne, and linebacker Sione Taki have all been placed on the physically unable to perform list. Running back Antonio Gibson has been placed on the non-football injury list after being present for all of off-season activities. In other NFL news, the Dallas Cowboys open up camp today. Top wide receiver CeeDee Lamb will not be there as he holds out for a new contract. The Red Sox snapped a 4-game losing streak with a 6-0 win in Denver last night over the Colorado Rockies. Tyler O'Neill homered twice and drove in 3 for the Sox, and Cooper Criswell added 7 shutout innings of work.
Yeah, I would say yesterday just in catch play, kind of messing around with all your pitches, trying to get a feel for it, trying to just adjust release points a little bit. Obviously, nothing too dramatic. Starting the sweeper a little more over the plate rather than at the hitter, and had some success with it.
Nick Pivetta starts the finale of this 3-game series today. The Boston Globe reports the Sox have reached out to the Dodgers about a possible trade for lefty James Paxton. He was designated for assignment on Monday, and although the opening ceremonies aren't until Friday, the Summer Olympics actually get underway today in Paris with men's soccer on the schedule. The U.S. will play France this afternoon. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by IBEW Local 103 and Neat Electrical Contractors. For over 50 years, they've been powering TD Garden, making sure it stays lit, safe, and ready for every game. Learn more at thepowerprofessionals.org. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Here we go. Boom. I win. Boom. Yeah.
It's somebody. We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hello. Hello. Am I on?
You are on.
Wow, my board just went completely dark.
Well, let's try and recreate the open between the two.
No.
of
Well,
us.
let's first talk this out since this is on the air and there's nothing to play but us. Is the board booting back on?
I'm going to try and boot it up right now, but I was trying to play the intro after.
Yeah, I don't care.
John-
Just boot it, put the board back on,
Yep.
and then let us know.
Okay.
Can Nick or Mike call the engineer?
Yeah, just exit the application. So I'm trying to.
Nicholas, call the engineer. Nicholas, yep, the station's down, dum-dum. You're pointing your head, you moron.
When I turn on the microphone, it kills the speakers.
I mean, he's in no rush. There could be nothing more, a bigger problem happening.
I wonder if there's an engineer here.
I'm going to guess no.
Odds are against it.
Again,
let me try that.
And by the way, this is the only time of day that there are live shows on in this building outside of this station.
Just tried it again, Fred. It didn't. It's not firing. Let me try this. Hotkeys. Nope, that's not working either. Media not found. Hotkey error. Wide orbit error.
Can you put Fox Sports back on?
Let me dial that up on the board here. Yep. Hold on one second.
Because we will go to Fox Sports.
Ba-dum-bum-bum-ba-ba.
Because if the board is not working and we can't run commercials and everything else, I'm not doing 4 hours of live radio with no dump and no phone calls and anything else. So, and if there's no engineer here, I want to get paid as if we're number one for the entire book.
I want me to try and bring this.
What do you think? Uh-oh. Okay.
All right.
Well,
Thank you.
I mean,
Play Fox.
I'm not even going to ask.
it feels like
I'm not even going to ask.
So what is what's the big conversation on the ground there? Like, what the hell's Oregon doing here? Like, why do they have a duck boat in the
say.
College football is playing a game of risk.
There's nothing Dan Patrick can't do.
I remember doing a sports report
from the payphone.
Step into the big leagues with Dan Patrick on the Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
scrolling mindlessly.
We know all about your social media habits. So, scroll past the cute dog videos. Scroll past the DIY, the ones that you have no business watching. And the thirst traps.
Wait a minute.
Fine, you can look at those. But start putting that algorithm to use.
Now it's social media.
Follow us at Fox Sports Radio.
The big story of the day.
Interact with us at Fox Sports Radio.
We're asking you.
Find out at Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Call your friends and ask how they doing.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Boom. Trust your eyes.
FS1.
Two pros and a cup of Joe, Fox Sports Radio. LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox with you here. Coming up top of next hour, a little over 10 minutes from now from the TireRack.com studios. One of the worst kept secrets in the NFL, and apparently it's a lot closer than we realize. We'll get into that for you here from the TireRack.com studios. Again, top of next hour, a little over 10 minutes from now. A reminder, though, before we get to in case you missed it, that shortly after the show, our podcast will be going up. So just search Two Pros wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to also follow, rate, and review the pod. Again, just search Two Pros wherever you get your podcast. You'll see this show posted right after we get off the air.
Sometimes you can't get to everything in the world of sports or entertainment. Good thing the guys are here to bring you in case you missed it.
And for that, we turn it over to our executive producer, Lee Delap.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jonas. Good morning, Brady. Good morning, LeVar. Guys,
good morning.
In case you missed this.
Good
morning, LeVar. Yeah. Guys, you missed this. In case you missed this, former Middle State Tennessee punter Kyle Ulbrich was spotted outside of the Miami Dolphins practice facility asking for a job. He had everything. He had placards, signs, the whole nine. He, of course, was a 4-year starter for the Blue Raiders, redshirting his first year, but he graduated in 2022. His fiancée told him this is going to be the last year he could try to push for any next-level league football. His buddies who play in the league said he needed to try something unique because he's done everything that all the other pros have done. So the fiancée backed him up, packed the car, 2 a.m., camped outside the facility, and he's out there looking for a job.
How's that going?
He said he's looking for a job.
Yeah. Seems like it's going well. I mean, let's not bury the lead here on Middle Tennessee State. All right. My nephew, who is playing at Middle Tennessee State, just got his check for being in the college football game, the EA game that came out. $600. Nice. How about that? Goes a long way for somebody young in college.
Where's that money going to go, you think?
I don't know.
Into his tank.
Hopefully on booze.
Some ice.
Yeah. Hopefully something worthwhile. Wasn't there some other player that was begging for a job a couple years ago?
Yeah. He did it too. They gave him I think he got on the team.
Yeah, who was
it, like in San Fran or something
somewhere
like that?
Somebody was begging for a job. Well, I mean, in San Francisco, you just kind of blend in with everybody else on the street.
Dang.
But yeah, somebody did hang outside a training camp and got
with a sign. We'll work for food or something like that.
It might have been in Miami too.
I remember it. I don't recall who it was, but I think he got on the team though.
Yeah.
It was like a success story.
I'll put it this way. Standing outside their training camp now versus back where it used to be the old facility, they're in Davie. 2 different areas,
What do you mean?
I'm not sure it's so safe to be standing technically outside their new facility.
They're going to take your chick and your rad. You're going to really need a job.
Not the best area. Dang. Davey was fine. You could stand out there, see a bunch of...
Come up off the ride of your chick, fool.
Right on Nova Southeastern's campus. That is not the case anymore.
I mean, if you're at USC, you'll be fielding punts in practice. So
I mean, if you at USC, it's the same type of situation.
Yes, it is. What else we got, Lee?
Guys, in case you missed this, we have the Olympian athletes showing up in Paris. We had LSU star gymnast Aaliyah Finnegan, who's representing the Philippines, posting on social media that the food is great, but it's unseasoned, saying that they're seasoning kiosks, but you can't get to them because there's too many people.
Good. You don't need all the seasoning. Who needs that sodium?
Okay.
What's wrong, Brady?
Jeez.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV.
practice of the summer in Foxborough. This is year one of the Gerard Mayo experience. We will cover camp live beginning at 10 a.m. with Zolek and Bertrand from the back porch of Gillette Stadium here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The practice itself begins at 11. Despite contract disputes for both players, Matthew Judon and defensive lineman Devon Godshaw have both apparently reported for work. Offensive lineman Cole Strange and Jake Andrews, Kendrick Bourne, and linebacker Sione Taki have all been placed on the physically unable to perform list, and running back Antonio Gibson has been placed on the non-football injury list. Dallas opens up camp today. Top receiver CeeDee Lamb will not be there as he holds out for a new contract. The Red Sox got 7 shutout innings from Cooper Criswell. They beat Colorado last night 6-0. Tyler O'Neill added a pair of homers. The Sox will pitch Nick Pivetta this afternoon in the finale of this 3-game series. The Boston Globe reports the Sox have also contacted the LA Dodgers about lefty James Paxton. He was designated for assignment on Monday. And men's soccer kicks things off for the Summer Olympics today in France. The U.S. men will face the host country at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The opening ceremonies will take place on Friday night. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Maternity. Are you an expecting mom? Did you know that breast pumps and other maternity products are covered by insurance? Eastern Maternity of New England has them in stock and ready to ship to you. Shop online now at easternmaternity.com. That's easternmaternity.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston Toll for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update in 30 minutes.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. Town Fair Tire Studios. Do the phones work?
Yeah.
617-779-0985. You can always call in. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe and smash the like button. Here's the deal. Nothing was working. And so...
how's your morning going, Fred? Huh? Artie,
I'm fine.
No,
what I didn't
kidding.
like...
I'm talking about me.
Well, you, yes. It was difficult. But when everything is not working and only the microphone's working, my advice to all aspiring broadcasters is don't kill an hour. Don't kill an hour. The only thing that's going to happen killing an hour is you're going to get in trouble. And no one from management is going to care at all that you were up against those circumstances and you're going to get thrown under the bus. It's happened to me before in my career.
Well, that's why podcasters really have this thing figured out, because they'll talk for an hour and they have no problem doing that, Fred. And you've heard those hour-long podcasts. It's all really good.
Exactly.
It's phenomenal content.
Okay. And then also, so what happened is nothing worked except for the microphones. But then at that point, you have to fix everything. So, Dan's in another room with a board and Mike and Nick, and there's no one here to fix it. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. We can't be on the air while people are, sometimes engineers have to come in and get under our chairs and everything else. So I said, play Fox Sports Radio, which is terrible, really bad. Really bad.
That's universally agreed on.
Wow. And that's
national. Okay. No, sorry. Yeah.
But the morning shows more so than the afternoon shows nationally. They get on more markets. Mm-hmm. But so you don't want to be on the air and while people are screwing around and trying to fix stuff. So I said play Fox Sports Radio. So they've in the meantime, who knows what they've gotten to be able to do. But there's some stuff up. But there you have it. No one seemed to care. I guess on YouTube there were still a couple hundred people just chatting away.
Did you know that, Hardy?
So, absolutely. Jim Louth was telling me it's like that YouTube community. They are self-sustaining. I think they're starting to grow their own crops. They filter their own water. They've got a little compound now where they all live together.
So it's just a big chat room for everybody, even though there was nothing to look at.
I love it. It's kind of like when your kids are of an age, it's like, oh, we don't have to get a sitter. This is awesome. We can go out for dinner for a couple hours. We don't have to do anything.
Well, that's the ideal, and that's why they have those chat rooms on this stuff is apparently because people have emailed me about it is because it lends to a community, and then you get these people that hang out more. Maybe they would only normally hang out for 45 minutes, but now they're hanging out for 2 hours because they're talking to people and they're meeting up. They become this whole kind of like pal talk on Opie and Anthony. They become this whole community among themselves.
I just don't want it to get too incestuous. I don't want inbreeding to take place. And it just...
We're generations ahead of that. I
Okay.
mean, they said the same thing about West Virginia. And
okay,
look,
so you think it would be okay for maybe the rest of however long this show is on the air, maybe the next show, and then it starts to be a problem. Grandchildren.
Yeah. They're gonna have to move and learn different languages and stuff, or there's going to be a lot of inbreeding.
Yeah.
At that point, because say there's
At what point does the YouTube community start to speak in their own language? You know, they're
I don't know if you checked it out. I think they're very close to that.
It's just using symbols.
Take a look at some of the comments, man. I think
like
we're,
Esperanto,
I think we're there.
they speak in languages only twins can understand.
Yes.
I'm sure that they have vernacular that we wouldn't understand as outsiders. I'm sure there's insults that they tell about us that we wouldn't even know are insults.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Not surprised at all.
We've had multiple people working on this in multiple states. You know, big conference calls going on, remote logins on servers, trying to get this thing fixed here this morning.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
It's a lot, and why shouldn't someone be here to fix it? When this is the only time of day that Beasley has actual live shows in any of the stations.
Well, one of them isn't live this morning. There's dark studio.
They're at the end of this one.
Danielle told me that it wasn't on the air, but I guess it is on the air. Ben, go ahead.
Freddie, baby.
What's up, Benjamin?
You're alive.
Yeah, baby.
We kept ourselves together there on the YouTube chat. Shout out Twitch Nation. It's amazing how much Fox Sports Radio makes you miss Wallach.
Wow. Thanks.
He sounds like Howard Stern compared to them. I mean,
with his Sea Dog sweatshirt. Get a Woo Sox sweatshirt, would you, Wallach? Come on.
They got I don't like the logo. They got a dumb logo. We're not doing that.
Yeah, he likes the Kraken logo. Don't pull him from his favorites. Dan, go ahead.
That is so funny what Ben just said. I was literally calling to say, listeners, appreciate what you have. What dog crap they have on other markets in the morning it's incredible. So, you got to do that every once in a while. Take away what you have, and you appreciate it once it's gone. So thank you, guys. Thank you for fixing. Thank you for coming back. Loyal listener all day.
Thank you,
Love
Dan.
you.
Poetry of Peter Cetera. You don't know what you've got until it's gone, and he found out a little too late.
I always go to Cinderella when I think of that.
Well, but they insisted upon it in the chorus. I like that Peter Cetera just used it in a verse.
Tom Kiefer was not bad. In Cinderella in Philadelphia did an ad for a hot dog shop before they were famous.
That's right.
They're cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And those guys were getting laid like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you ever happen upon a Chicago song like on one of our stations here,
No.
or just hear one? It amazes me that band was ever popular. Does anybody really know what time it is? It's the horns. It's kind of a swing sound, but then they try and get rocking again. Who sought that out and said, "This is my music"?
I have a question though. Has a band ever gone from like remotely cool to what Chicago became as much? Has a band devolved?
Jefferson Airplane?
Yeah, but that's a good point. But that's only the slutty one was the only one left in the band.
Great
Slick.
Slick, yeah.
So
they went from that stuff to like Sarah.
Yeah. But that was Jefferson Starship, not Jefferson Airplane. So that was Grace Slick. By the way, any time they talk about the mid-late 60s in San Francisco, Grace Slick had sex with everybody.
Oh, is that right?
Like literally everybody. Like when a band came through, they were like, "Oh, we had sex with Grace Slick." She had a very good time with herself.
Yeah,
was an attractive woman for a while there. A little bonkers on the psychedelics.
But at least one or two people remain from Jefferson Airplane to Jefferson Starship to Starship. So there is a connection between White Rabbit and We Built This City.
Yeah, that's a bit of a loose connection. Yeah. But Chicago was kind of like a funky, horn-driven band. I'm not saying they were great, but they certainly didn't sound anything like "Next Time I Fall in Love."
Yeah, thank you. That's a great example.
What is this?
This is, does anyone know what time it is?
Yes, that's right.
Listen to this.
This is big in the mid-'70s right here.
For who?
It's way better than what the Karate Kid stuff.
Okay, tell me a fan of what band today would have been a fan of this in the mid-70s?
Any ska band.
Really?
A little bit, maybe not as much. Maybe someone who's a fan of down the street. Oh, it's not a bad song. Oh, come on.
It's a toe tapper.
What the time was, that was on my watch. And I added 2 more prepositions.
That's not that bad a song. I mean, listen, I understand what you're saying. That it
was on rock stations.
I know. But they paid enough. That's all it took. They put enough coke in the in the album sleeve.
Throw an 8-ball there right next to the vinyl insert. Now, did you put it probably in between the sleeve and the vinyl sleeve?
Mm.
You didn't put it right up against the record because, you cut it with enough baking soda that could scratch the record, and you're just now you've undone the whole process.
If you don't know what Hardy and I are talking about, if WBCN used to be by Fenway. It was for years and years. I never worked at that one. I think Hardy did.
I did.
But
what a dump.
There were generations of people that would go through the record library, like where there were thousands of records, with the sole purpose of trying to find if there was any residue of coke, so they could cobble together enough to get high. And I think that happened a lot. I know that Mark Hamilton was tasked by one of the DJs before the moving to Brighton.
Oh, I wonder which one.
Yeah, his good friend. He's dead now.
Lick me.
Yeah.
That might give it away.
Yeah, and that was tasked to go through and see if you could even find roaches. And I'm like, dude, you make enough money. You don't need to find the roaches.
The gold records that were on the wall in BCN, there were certain ones you could go and you could see scratches across the glass. I don't know where they are. They're probably all in storage somewhere. I don't know what company retained ownership of all the gold records that were given to BCN over the years, but obviously they were taking the records off the wall back in the day and cutting up the coke on the glass of the gold record, and they were hanging on the walls in Brighton. Like, oh, look at this Pat Benatar record. What are all these diagonal scratches across the middle of it?
They just did so much coke. Yeah. It's really crazy. Yeah. Like the 80s. Before my time, the 80s were just so lathered in so much cocaine.
Oh, man, when I first moved here and walked into that BCN studio, what have I done?
Yeah,
the legendary WB, the bathroom looked and reminded me of the place where the sisters catch Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption. It had that same type of vibe to it, same lighting in it. And I'm looking around for a barrel of lye to throw in somebody's face in case they cornered me in there. It was not a pleasant place.
Yeah, in the book, that's a lot more disturbing than in the movie. If you know, I'm going to Charleston, South Carolina today. I'm flying Delta. And, Delta is they're still scrambling from the whole shutdown. The computer shut down a week ago, Friday.
Which I ignorantly thought yesterday, that's not still a thing.
No other airline but Delta. All the other airlines running smoothly, Delta not.
So I got a email before I went to bed last night saying, hey, chances are this isn't going to work well. But at least it's a direct flight, and now it's already been delayed. Because I was at Buff's last night, and a couple people that work there were like, when you go to Charleston, they know.
Yeah.
They know. When you go to Charleston to sit around in Charleston, and my parents are coming, and then they're like, when are we having dinner? And I said, well, the team is organized a dinner, and they're like, where? And I told them, and they're like, huh? So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds great.
Is this a big tournament? Is that why your parents are coming?
No, they're coming because they're 6-hour drive from there. From Charleston.
Oh, really?
That's not terrible.
And they feel like coming.
I would not. I thought it would have been a lot farther than that.
No, they're in East Tennessee.
Oh, I was thinking they were on the other side.
No, they're
You've
East
said
Tennessee.
East Tennessee before.
They're by Knoxville, and they're closer actually than Knoxville to where we're going. So there you go. All right, we have the good fortune because we played Fox Sports not only to look like heroes, but also to have on our good friend Christopher Price. As everything gets going in Foxborough today, everyone showed up yesterday. Gerard Mayo talked. We'll have him on in just a moment.
The Boston Celtics are in
Yes.
Because they were able to restructure his deal to his predilections. Christopher Price is the Patriots beat writer for the Boston Globe. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hello, sir.
Good morning, Fred. How you doing, man?
I am doing well. We are back on the air. You were probably following this very closely. We're not on the air for the 6 o'clock hour, and you were probably thinking, oh, my God, am I going to get on?
Well, I was a little curious, yes, but it sounds like everything is going okay now, so it's all good.
Yeah, I'm thinking just the 6 o'clock hour being Fox Sports Radio every day.
That's what Stern did. Started going on at 7.
I like it.
That's what Opie and Anthony started to do, too.
Perfect.
That's what Jim and Sam do. They go on at 7. They might even go on at 8. Yeah, no one's on the road at 6, let's be honest. All right. So what did you make of Gerard Mayo yesterday? And how much of this personally, how is this affecting you personally? As someone who dealt with Belichick for so long, how are you feeling about all this?
Well, I'd have to go back and check all the transcripts from the last 20-something years, but I don't think Bill ever sat down at the table and said, hello, friends. And look, fans don't care. Fans don't give a crap, and they shouldn't give a crap. But it's completely different in terms of, the give and take that you have with the coach. It's just it's a new era in Foxborough, and he was open and forthcoming, and he said, I think the biggest takeaways that at least I had, when it came to this team this year was that, we're going to see Jacoby as the number one starter, at least at the beginning of camp, but Drake May is going to get every opportunity to win the number one job, between now and the start of the regular season, and the fact that both Judon and Godshaw are in the building. They were in the building. They were working out, and, we'll see how it all goes from there.
Okay, so first of all, I do think the fans care about the differences between Mayo and Belichick with the press because it was a huge storyline. And even something while the Patriots were winning that people pointed to and went, that's our guy. Like, what are you guys pitching about? That's our guy. And then, as soon as they started losing, it got not as cute. But when he says that May is going to have an opportunity to win the job, what would that take? Is that a true statement? And in your opinion, if it is, what are you thinking?
I think it's a fairly true statement. Look, I think this team is better off right now with Jacoby Brissett as the number one quarterback for a few different reasons. First of all, Brissett is fundamentally, and we asked him about this, he talked a little bit about this yesterday, he's an extension of Alex Van Pelt. He's the guy who knows this offense better than anyone else, maybe, and I don't want to say in the building, but at least on the roster. And so to have him on the field as they are trying to figure out the nuances of a new scheme makes an awful lot of sense because he just knows it. He's got the background with him, and he's just more familiar with Van Pelt than, May or Milton or Zappi or whoever else you want to, throw back there. The other thing, too, is you want to be able to create a positive situation for a rookie quarterback. You want to throw him into a winnable environment. And look, it's a 4-13 team, and so there's not going to be a whole lot of, winnable situations, at least long-term for this team this year. But you want to make sure that the offensive line is completely set. You want to make sure that the offensive skill position players, including the rookies, are completely dependable. You want to put him in situations where you can maximize that confidence for a young player, because when you go to him, you don't want to pull him again. You don't want a Zach Wilson type of situation where you have him in the game and, he's not doing well, he's struggling, and then you got to put Jacoby back in there. So when you make the move, it's got to be for the long term. So I think this team is better off right now, like I said, with Brissett back there as the starter.
But that's the main problem, the offensive line. Who are the best? Gerard Mayo said yesterday, we're going to play the best 5 guys. Who are the best 5 guys, and how many rookies are among those best 5?
See, and I'm glad you bring that up, because that's one of the things that if I have an issue with something that he might have said yesterday, you don't want to play the best 5 guys. The offensive line is not about playing the best 5 guys, at least in my experience. It's about playing the 5 guys who work the best together. We've seen time and again here in New England, Russ Hochstein, Tom Ashworth, all the live long day, that it's about getting guys who can play together. And if Caden Wallace is your best bet at left tackle, I'd go with Caden Wallace. If Okorafor is your best bet at left tackle, go with Okorafor. Whoever works the best together. And so that's really, for me, specifically the left tackle position. I think once they get that left tackle position set, if it's Okorafor, if it's my guy Calvin Anderson, if it's, Caden Wallace, whoever, they got to get that lockdown, and then you move from there, because then you can start to see, Cole Strange starting to come back at left guard. You get Andrews at center. You get City at the right guard, and you get Owenu at right tackle, and things will kind of start to develop from there. But I think the big question right out of the gate is the left tackle position.
Well, I love that notion. It reminds me of the conversations we're having about Team USA basketball. You don't need the best guys. You need the right guys. Just get the right guys in there that can play together. But Chris,
Derek White, baby, no one better.
So, Chris, one of the prevailing theories is that the defense this season will be good enough to, if this team is going to be competitive, the defense is going to be what keeps them in games while the offense develops, while Jacoby Brissett presumably takes control early on. Maybe we see Drake later on. Do you think the defense right now will be good enough to do that?
Yeah, if they stay healthy. If the key guys stay healthy. If Barmore and Judon and Godshaw and Duggar and Peppers and Gonzalez, all of those guys, if they can play 15, 16, 17 games, this defense is going to be really good. This defense is going to be they're going to be able to steal a couple of games because of their defense this year, whether it's through takeaways or whatever the case may be.
And it's easy, especially early on in camp, to get, I think, overexcited about the defense, because the defense almost always looks better on certain days while they're figuring things out offensively. You don't know what they're working on. So I have to caution myself about getting too excited about how good the defense looks, especially in the early days of camp.
And the other thing, too, Hardy, that's really important is the defense is really good, and it's going up against an evolving and developing offense.
Right.
And so I think we're going to look, like I said, I think the defense is going to be really good, but I agree with you when it comes to being a little cautious about making some sort of grand proclamation about, the direction of this defense, because they're going up against an offensive unit that's still kind of finding its way a little bit.
How worried should we be about Antonio Gibson? I mean, you have to figure the running game is going to be big for this team early as they get their passing game set, and now you have Ramondre Stevenson, but Gibson is apparently hurt, and there isn't a lot behind him.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wrote a little bit about this in the spring in the positional preview, the running back position, that what's there is good, but there's not a lot of depth. Like, last year, and we could talk about Zeke, but Zeke was able to kind of provide a little bit of a change-up. If Gibson isn't there for the long term, you don't have a whole lot of options at that third down back. But, that being said, they didn't have a whole lot of options at third down back the last couple of years. They haven't had a lot of third down backs here ever since James White left. And so I think we're moving toward an area, at least offensively, where you're going to see a guy like Ramondre get, a bunch of carries and maybe 50 catches or something. So he's going to kind of fill in that role. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if Gibson is a long-term thing, and I don't know, but I mean, if Gibson is a long-term thing that would stretch into September, maybe they go out and they look at the market and pick up a guy just to kind of be cautious.
All right. What about what are you looking for from the young receivers, and what's the upside of Pop Douglas? What do you expect from him?
If Pop Douglas is healthy and can stay away from injury, I think the potential is there for him to be a dollar store version of Tyreek Hill. I think he has. I think he can have a very, very good year. I think the ultimate goal would be able to move him around a little bit, get him in motion. It's going to be interesting to see with Marcus Jones back if he's going to get any reps. Pop Douglas is going to get any reps as a returner. I think Pop Douglas has a chance to be a really special part of this offense this year because he does have the background. He's been here for a year. He kind of, he's been around the league a little bit. He saw last year, and I talked to him at the end of the year last year about how defenses played him differently as the year went on, as he became kind of this, established receiver. And I think he is poised to have a really good season this year, no matter who's throwing him the football. So I like Pop. I think what I want to see from the rookie receivers this summer is just, I don't want to see them overwhelmed. I want to see them look natural. I want to see them, not banging into each other when they're, out there running routes. And, you kind of go from there. But the receiver position as a whole, it's going to be really interesting to watch because the back end of that depth chart, there's going to be some really interesting decisions. KJ Osborne, Juju Smith-Schuster, is Jalen Reagor's special teams experience enough to kind of win him a spot? If they keep 5 receivers, 6 receivers, maybe 7 receivers. Yeah, there's going to be some guys who, maybe not going to have a job between now and Labor Day.
As we stand here right now, day one of camp, who's the best wide receiver the Patriots have?
Pop Douglas.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. And this is before the evolution you're talking about. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as we stand here right now, but again, if the rookies, what's a reasonable expectation for the rookies? What, like 40 catches, 50 catches?
I think they're hoping for more out of Polk than that.
Yeah. And look, if he's completely healthy, this conversation takes a different turn. If Bourne is completely healthy, if Bourne's healthy, he's your best receiver.
But how long is that going to be?
That's a great question. That's a great question. We don't know. But right now, on this roster, among the active guys, the guys who we expect to be out there this week is Pop Douglas.
Chris, we're going to have a kicker competition in this camp. I love a good kicker camp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what's fun to watch from the sideline.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell and I bet Chris is going to back me up on this for once. I'll get one person somewhere in this life to back me up on this. It is the neglected position in the NFL. The only guy you are guaranteed to be calling upon to put points on the board for you during a game, and everyone just hates him. They hate kickers, and they don't want to pay him, and they don't want to keep him, they don't want to do anything, and all evidence to the contrary with Vinatieri and Gostowski. They treated those guys, and what they did to Nick Folk down the road, too. I never liked the way these kickers get treated overall. So, are we going to get some kicker respect during this camp? Are they looking at anybody?
It's between Joey Sly and Chad Ryland right now. And, obviously Ryland's numbers last year were well documented, 16 for 25, had some big misses, had to make on Christmas Eve in Denver, which I think, really helped his cause moving forward. But it's going to be between those two. And I think it's not only this year about putting points on the board, but being able to be one of the first to master the new kickoff rules. And that's going to be a real point of emphasis for this team. I think if memory serves, don't quote me directly on this, I think we saw Bryce Behringer do a little bit of it over the course of the spring workouts as everyone's kind of trying to figure it all out. But look, if Ryland can figure that out and they can kind of, lock down some other stuff, about his game, he apparently had a very good offseason working with, I think it was Nick Novak. And so he feels good coming into camp. Joey Sly, by the way, Joey Sly is cut, man. Joey Sly is not a looking guy. Yeah, Joey Sly is a lifter. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all develops, though.
You think they might make a calendar with the special teams guys, and Joey Sly can
Mr. March?
Is he shaved that beard, or is he still?
And you bring our guy Slater out of retirement too, to put him in the calendar.
Nah. Everything's covered. You've seen my ankles for 12 years, Buckaroo. That's going to be enough skin for you.
All right, listen, Christopher Price, enjoy today. I hope you enjoyed your time off, as now it all gets going again under the new regime. It's almost going to be it's going to be very bizarre for you not to be yelled at. Was there times that had Belichick ever picked you out at a press conference to snarl and be degrading?
A couple of times. Yeah, where I remember a few years ago, I asked a question about the importance of scoring early. And he kind of looked at me and said, we want to score all the time. What do you and kind of have that open palm, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So,
as if it's your fault. Yeah. Congratulations,
exactly.
Chris. The sun came out. Good for you.
It was the way he would answer questions and then leave it hanging there. And there was always the implied idiot. Oh, we want to score all the time. Idiot.
Yeah. So. The other thing too, though, Hardy, is that if you, in my experience with him, if you asked a crappy question, you were going to get a crappy answer.
Right.
If you asked a lazy question, you were going to get a horrible answer. If you asked a question that looked like you maybe paying attention a little bit, chances were good you were going to get a halfway decent answer. And there were days, where he was just in a crappy mood and he just would, dismiss everything. But at the same time, a lot of it was about the questions.
Would anyone, or would he ever come up to you after something like that happened and been like, look, it is what it is, like, kind of like pat in the back thing, or was he always you never heard anything else about it?
It never really happened to me, but I know guys who had that happen to them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he was nice to Breer until Breer backstabbed double-crossed him.
Yeah, no, that was memorable.
Is that what Breer did?
Yeah.
Albert?
Backstab
it's memorable exchange there. Yeah.
And he used to be nice to Felger, too. He used to get along with Felger until
the Breer
Felger
thing's legendary.
And Felger double-crossed him. All right.
Backcrossed him.
Backcrossed him, too.
Double-stabbed him.
Double guns. All right, Christopher Price, everyone read him in the Boston Globe. Thanks so much for the time, sir. We always appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. The great Christopher Price. We'll be right back here on the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
Football officially back.
we're Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Hardy and I were just actually laughing at what the people on YouTube were saying. You're very clever today. You can don't walk into that YouTube chat and start trying to boss people around, ladies and gentlemen. There are times where I've understood they're not nice to me. They're not going to be nice to you. They're going to be mean. You think we're mean? They're going to be way worse. They might hate us some days, but they're damn if they're not protective.
Yeah.
So
love it.
I love it. I mean, Riz and the guys, everybody, Ben and everybody else. All right. We didn't get to do about last night because everything here at the station was broken. We came on the air at 6 o'clock and like literally nothing was working but the microphones. And my fear was what happened is that nothing got fixed for an hour. So my fear was what we would get on the air and we would just be like going blah, 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 blah. And then eventually we would have to discuss on the air how we were not going to be on the air any longer. And then I didn't even, and Hardy made the good point too, but we didn't even know if they could fix anything while we were on the air.
Yeah.
So we decided to stay off the air for a while. And now gradually things came back. But I would suggest that someone who can fix technical issues be in the building at 5:30 every morning. Because when the board goes down at 5:55 and the only thing that works is the microphones, like that's an hour of ads that didn't get played. That's a lot of stuff. And it's the only time that there's live shows in most of the stations. Most of them.
Yeah. I mean, and it seemed like something that I don't know what exactly was going wrong, technically, but something that would have been fixed quickly, it was not. So once you're on the air for those first 15, 20 minutes, and then it's 30, and then it's 40, it would have been an hour. It would have been an hour.
So what I have learned, if I've learned anything in my since '99, so I'm like Opie. I've been in it since I was a teenager, but I've been in radio for like say 25 years. I've learned that there's no winning for the on-air personality. You get on the air in those situations, and that's when trouble's afoot.
Right.
Because you start going way too off the top of the head, and there's no safety nets. And that, my friend, is not good on a government-run signal. But last night, ladies and gentlemen, your Red Sox, who have been ice cold, some say there was McCarthy had a baseball writer from the Providence Journal.
I think it was Bill Koch.
Bill Koch on. Mm-hmm. Oh, Ed Koch was such a good mayor.
Well, he got that concert in Central Park together for Simon and Garfunkel. People really like that.
I know. 4 billion people went to go see Simon and Garfunkel.
That's how many say they were.
They were like, Simon, you're all right, but you bring in the funk. Mm-hmm. And he came out and he was like, he said the feedback that he's getting is that the Red Sox fans believe, I found this very interesting, like legit believe that the team is happy that they got swept by the Dodgers. And it was before they had even lost the first one to Colorado, that they were excited about that. But everything I'm hearing from a national level is that they are indeed going to go out and get a starter, that they are going to get like a fifth starter. And we could throw names around. Someone just got cut by the Dodgers.
Well, no, that's just it. James Paxton, who pitched here last year, just got designated for assignment by the Dodgers after beating the Red Sox Sunday night. And Alex Spear, the Globe, reported late last night that the Sox have reached out to L.A. about getting him. And that's the cheap way to do it. He's a back end of the rotation starter who you're familiar with. I would imagine he'd be here.
Yeah, that's fine. But you do, and we talked to someone from Baseball America earlier this week, and they're the people who know the most about all the prospects. And they said, look, the Red Sox have done a really good job building up their farm system. In fact, the kid they just drafted is already like one of the top 100 prospects.
Yep.
And in fact, fairly high. And the thing is this, though. If you get too precious with your prospects, you're never going to win that. We talked about that before. And also, you have people that play the same position. You have a glut of middle infielders, and you might have some problems in the outfield too, and you got to jettison that for pitching at some point. Mm-hmm. Now, the trade deadline, the prices might be huge because of, the amount of teams involved in the wild card. But, because the big rumor is the Cardinals are getting Eovaldi and a reliever from Texas. But that's if Texas decides to sell. And who knows? They're 6.5 out of the wild card.
The cheapest way out of this for the Red Sox, I'm not saying they're going to do this, but probably the cheapest way out of this for the Red Sox is to get Paxton from the Dodgers and reacquire Justin Turner from Toronto. That's the right-handed bat you need to balance your lineup.
Okay.
That's the back end of your rotation. That's with minimal prospect jettison. You won't have to give up much to get either of those.
Well, then this offseason, you're going to have to go. You're going to have to get rid of some prospects.
We'll see if that point is right or not. Are the Red Sox really going to cheap out, or are they going to invest some capital and go get someone who can really make an impact?
Because there's players with control that are available. And we had that guy on, say, Skubal for the Tigers. There's no way they're getting rid of him. He's got 2 years of arbitration.
Skubal's an all-star. This is what every organization wants, a homegrown starting pitcher who's a lefty who is dominant.
And they said that the only team that could legitimately make the deal, not even the Red Sox could, the only team that could legitimately make the deal is Baltimore, and then Jackson Holiday would have to be part of it.
Detroit would be insane, A, for trading him, but B, give up a guy like Holiday?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Jackson Holiday and some to get him. So if I'm the obviously if I'm the Red Sox, I'm not fishing in those waters. But Baltimore's reason for doing it would be we have this window right now to win. We got to win within the next couple of years while these guys are all under our control.
They're all cheap. They're all under control.
And we're going to lose them all.
Done, now's the time. I agree. So there's panic level there, but not here because the reality is different. So the cheapest way to do it would be to get Turner and Paxton. We'll see if the Red Sox do better than that.
Right.
It just worries me when they start protecting too many prospects, especially the pitchers. I call it my Casey Kelly PTSD. You know, the guy that they would not move for anybody. Was it the Roy Halladay deal? That
sounds right.
They wanted Casey Kelly. There's no way.
That's right.
You can ask for anything, but you can't have that.
And then it didn't work.
No, he was still around up until a couple years ago.
Well, remember when the Red Sox traded for Sale, who they gave up?
Yes, they gave up Yoan Moncada, who is considered an untouchable infield prospect, and Michael Kopech, who is considered an untouchable pitching prospect. Kopech wound up, I think he's their closer this year, after flaming out as a starter. He had that big arm. He could throw 100, and he kept getting hurt. And Moncada was significantly worse than a lot of people projected.
There were 4 prospects in that Chris Sale deal.
Yeah, and I mean Moncada and what's the kid who threw the 100 was Kopech were the two main parts of it. And even at the time, I was like, "That's crazy," but that was that was a move fresh off the Tigers when the GM was fresh off the Tigers, and I was very familiar with those kinds of moves. He would just get rid of Dombrowski would just get rid of the entire farm system. But if you look at that move, I mean, that was a great move. None of those guys panned out.
Moncada at the time, I'm reading this now, was considered the number 1 prospect in Major League Baseball.
Right.
Well, all this, as you started this whole thing, Fred, you know, the Red Sox were flailing a bit. They came out of the All-Star break with suffering the sweep at the hands of the Dodgers. Then they lost one of the Rockies, and there were certain people saying, these are still good baseball games. They're close, but you have to figure out ways to win. Well, last night they figured out the easiest way to win, just get a couple of home runs from, say, Tyler O'Neill.
Oh, watch this one go. T.O. got another one. Way back there. That's bouncing around on the concourse. His second home run tonight.
Wow. That ball was hit hard. Holy cow.
465 feet, gentlemen.
Thank you for that, Nesson. And yes, his 2 home runs totaled over 900 feet in travel out there in Colorado. So the Red Sox would go on to win 6-0 last night. Cooper Criswell out there kicking and dealing. Pitched 6 innings, and then what happened there before you went out?
Normally, whenever you're done, AC shakes your hand or, gives you a little dap up. So he just kept giving me high fives, and so I knew I was going back out for the 7th.
Oh, so he didn't get dabbed up. Oh, there were no high fives. So he knew he was going back out for the 7th. Whoa. That's hot. Tyler O'Neill, you're hitting well, champ.
Yeah, get hurt again. You're too muscular.
How you doing? How you doing it, champ?
Not even thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I'm just trying to trust my prep again. I know it sounds cliche, but
Shut up. It does. You're just a walking cliche.
Let the man speak.
I mean, why don't you get into the new romantic movement like me?
Prep again. I know it sounds cliche, but just try and get a pitch over the plate that I can do some damage with. Just let my mechanics take over from there. Trusting my eyes right now. I feel like my timing's in a pretty good spot, so we're just going to keep that rolling there.
Hell yeah, it is, champ.
All right, there, Canadian broadcaster. That there. I'm just trying to get it going there. I know it sounds cliche, but geez Louise.
That guy's from Georgia.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got to pick an accent. Where was he in, like, single A in the Yukon?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's that weird thing where the all-American-born hockey players end up sounding Canadian.
Jaffe.
Yeah.
That's the Jaffe. He has no Midwestern accent. He's just got a Canadian accent.
Freaking, what's his name? Little Sparky there from Livonia. Torrey Krug. He sounded real Canadian.
I'm being told the man is from Canada, Maple Grove, Canada. The guy. So leave that to you. Leave the putting people in their place to me.
Yeah. Well,
the minute I hear someone talk, I know where they're from and what their problems are.
Rubber match this afternoon. 3:10. Nick Pivetta getting the start for the Red Sox.
Pivy, baby. All right. Well, listen.
Oh, and by the way, the Mets tried pitching around Aaron Judge last night, and boy, did that work. They
did work.
Yeah, they walked him 4 times, and then they
struck him out in the ninth.
Struck him out in the ninth, and Mets went on to win 3-2.
I watched a lot of baseball yesterday. The kid from the Pirates was playing the Cardinals. They let him go to the ninth. He gave up 2 runs.
How many pitches?
Oh, boy. Not 100, I don't think. But the talk is that the Skeens, even if they're in the playoff hunt, they're going to shut them down in September. And if I'm the Pirates, yes, I'm shutting them down in September. As my own son goes through a shoulder sprain that is no joke.
Yeah, Skeens 104 pitches in 8 1/3.
Yeah. So, but gave up 2 runs.
Okay.
You got to do better, kid. You got to do better. All right, we will be right back with news you can use.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
the show.
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here, 98.5, the Sports Hub. You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Is this no effects? This is like early no effects. Is this? I got sold out. Oh, look at that, Fred. I got sold out. Oh, look at that. We are Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube, which has been very funny today. You can also know that we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And Hardy, it is our responsibility as a media outlet to give people the news.
It is. I wish I could have a news intro for you, but that's part of the...
We interrupt this
there we
program
go.
for breaking news.
Newsflash.
My thing over here isn't working, though, right? That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so... Fred, we're going to begin with a story here from Portland. Oh, you're wearing your Portland Sea Dog shirt today.
Hey, look at that.
Portland, Oregon.
Oh.
Sorry about that, Wallach. You often hear about young people, the baby Jessica, I think, fell down a well. Do you remember that? That was a...
Yes, and it seemed awful difficult to get baby Jessica out of that well.
It was but heartbreaking, and we were all on pins and needles.
But how come you couldn't just get her out of the well? Like, they built something that you can't physically get down? There was that time a few years ago where I was obsessed with cave videos, and I mean actual caves. What people would do is that they would, it's not some kind of underground European scene.
Okay.
It's not, when I say caving, I mean they were going into natural caves.
This isn't like Cave Week.
No. In Providence, they have their own cave weeks there.
Right.
Cave week there, but
it's loosely affiliated with Bear Week.
Yeah, people just wear Spelunky hats and everything else. But these people, they would climb into these caves, and they for fun, and then they would get stuck. And there was one guy that got stuck. And they finally got down, and they got to him. It took like a week to go down and get to him. So they got to him, and they're like, hey, we'll get you out. So they started breaking his bones. And they just started breaking bones. And they couldn't knock him out or anything. So while he was conscious, they were breaking his bones because they thought with the broken bones they could easily maneuver him out. And they finally just had to give up. So this guy was down there for like a week.
He was stuck. They injured him, and he died down there.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Like, if you're going down into caves that people generally don't go down into and you have to squeeze through stuff, there's a good chance you die. And that's got to be that, and being on a boat in the middle of the ocean that gets lost at sea are got to be the worst ways to die. And believe me, I've explored them all.
All the different ways to die.
Yeah.
You're talking about that couple.
I mean, I saw Faces of Death. Yeah, you guys ever see Faces of Death when you were a kid?
So that was
You didn't?
Oh,
I never
God,
saw
yes. It was
never saw it.
No, that was a big thing. I didn't believe a couple of them. Like the alligator one. I don't think that one was real.
No, none of them were real, and I don't even think the guy jumping off the building was real. The only thing I remember, I totally remember, I think was real, is when they tapped the monkey and then eat its brain. They have the monkey in the middle of the table and they eat its brain. Yeah. That's the only thing I remember. But
which was immortalized in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Chilled monkey brain.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a story of someone else falling down a hole, Fred.
Yeah. You got a lot of friends.
That's nothing.
This morning, a man has been rescued after getting stuck in a pipe in northwest Portland. He was there for hours before help arrived. Our cameras were there as crews were trying to pull him out of that hole. This happened just about an hour ago. He was at the bottom of a 40-foot ventilation pipe from a nearby parking garage. That pipe was only about a foot wide. He told rescue crews that he woke up there and has no idea how he ended up at the bottom of that pipe. People in a building nearby heard him calling for help. Fire crews took him to the hospital. We caught that on camera as they were able to get him to safety. They took him to get checked out. They say he was not seriously hurt.
That is,
He woke up there.
the 40-foot drop.
And he's fine.
I've never, as much alcohol as I've consumed in my lifetime.
Oh, you think? Do you
Combined
think
with Ambien.
alcohol was involved?
I think it might be. I'm going to go. But I never saw the hell yeah. Look, I bet I can fit through that thing. And then he was not alone. And then like Skeeter was like, oh no, Jethro stuck in the pipe again. I got a 23 skidoo. I got a warrant out for my arrest.
So it was a ventilation pipe next to a parking garage.
Yeah, I mean, you go to the parking garage, obviously, because you're looking for quarters.
The pipe is only about a foot wide.
Yeah. And so the Tube Hillbillies made a bet that they could get in it.
You reckon if I greased you up enough, you might be able to get down that
You
pipe?
have cortisone and ice. You can get rid of a lot of things, including girth. And they made it down. And then he said, can you get into the pipe? And he goes, I get in the pipe. And he goes, dang it, Skater, I'm stuck in the pipe. And he goes, I got warrants. I got a skidoo.
Call 911.
I got to get out of here. I want to know who ditched the guy in the pipe. Whoa.
Firefighters said the man told them he woke up at the bottom of the pipe, had no idea how he ended up there. I don't think he said it like that. I believe his answer was probably, I don't even know.
Hell, I don't know. All I know is I hope I didn't break these bottle rockets in my back pocket. I know I came here to do something, and it was to blow some stuff up. All right, so what else do we have, Hardy?
Our next story, Fred. There was a car accident. Oftentimes, it's not just hitting another car. It's not hitting an embankment. Sometimes it hits a structure of some kind. This one is maddening because they really don't explain how this happened.
Well, take a look at this video. A driver losing control of their car, going airborne, crashing into a garage roof of a southeastern Minnesota home yesterday morning. Wow. News outlets reporting it happened around 10:30 a.m. in the city of La Crescent, just across the Mississippi River from La Crosse, Wisconsin. The person driving off County Road 25 down a steep embankment there onto the home's attached garage below it. Now, no one was home at the time. Luckily, that driver was hospitalized and is said to be in stable condition at this time.
Okay, so the news has the ability to show you pictures and videos of things. And watching this video, at no point do they show a steep embankment. Do they show a road anywhere near this house other than the one that's at street level and like ground level? And the car is literally crashed through the roof of this home.
Well, it's across the street from LeClaire, Wisconsin, across the Mississippi River. Listen to the description.
Well, take a look at this video. A driver losing control of their car, going airborne, crashing into a garage roof of a southeastern Minnesota home yesterday morning. Wow. News outlets reporting it happened around 10:30 a.m. in the city of La Crescent, just across the Mississippi River from La Crosse, Wisconsin.
That is a lot of information. They must be telling her, oh, hey, there's no video because we're just going to give you a map. And you describe what you see there. We had an elevation of 500 feet.
Or this is where local knowledge really plays well. Oh, yeah, La Crosse, they have a lot of them steep embankments, don't you know?
I don't want to be on the other side of Mississippi from that place.
No, you find yourself crashed through a roof. Sorry about your roof there, pal.
10:30 in the morning. I mean, you would think someone had seen it. There would be someone on the scene.
No one was home at the time, but and apparently the driver was okay, kind of.
Yeah, you get loose. You can survive anything. You just got to let your body go loose. All right, Hardy. And finally, what?
There was part of an airplane found not due to a crash, but due to an improper, let's say, removal. But the best part of this story is really the reporter.
Authorities in Springfield, Florida are trying to...
Authorities in Springfield, Florida, if you can believe it.
And Jaguar.
And listen...
Talk about a contradiction in terms. There ain't no authority in Springfield.
I spent a week there one Sunday. Oh, goodness. If I could say this reeking and dripping with more sarcasm, authorities in Springfield. The authorities in Springfield, listen, just because they have a whip and a leather cap on doesn't mean they're your boss. You could pay them off, believe me.
Authorities in Springfield, Florida are trying to solve the mystery of an unusual piece of property abandoned at the side of a road.
Ooh. Is it bigger than a bread box? I love this game. The Springfield, what is it? Authorities in Springfield found something. Now let's play. It's bigger than a bread box. You can hump it. That's Adam Sandler.
Half of a plane.
Well, you got to go back a few seconds.
I'm aware of that, Jonathan. I didn't know he was going to get the inflection was going to get so
goodness.
Of property abandoned at the side of a road. Half of a plane.
Half of a plane. What by God is going on? My stars.
I've heard of discounted fares, but this is ridiculous.
Oh, boy.
Local police said a portion of a plane, that is, the cockpit, nose, and front propeller.
My goodness.
It's like when Charles and I went as a two-person horse to the Maybelline Halloween party, and he skedaddled, and I was just walking around like a horse's ass with just my head and two front paws. It's all cockpit and no ass. Jerome, this is a two-person costume. I know you want to leave, but if you do, we'll look like fools. Horses have 4 legs. And if you I know you don't like being back there anymore, but I'm telling you, I want to get the ribbon. Charles is dressed as Gumby, and if we're not Pokey, he's going to look the fool. Anyway, half this cockpit.
Guess we made you the horse's ass for a reason, because that's what you are.
And I don't think your intention was to make me cry tonight. But congratulations, you exceeded my expectations on your tomfoolery.
Half of a plane.
Half of a plane. Now you can knock me over with a wet noodle. Now I've seen it all. And inside that plane were a bunch of burned up bodies. It was nuts.
Was found abandoned at the side of Transmitter Road. The plane bears markings from Zoo World and Panama City Beach.
Wow. Zoo World in Panama City Beach. Bear Week 2019.
Including giraffe logos on its seats, but the business said it got rid of the plane about a week ago. Assistant Park Director Jadina Terrell said,
who's a real hoot. We met up for a couple of bottomless margs at Chili's.
It was just a meet and greet talking about maybe having an event there.
that the plane was given to a private citizen after officials decided to replace the display-only plane with something that would be less dangerous for climbing children.
And something that popped more. Something that made more of a statement. So they got a local artist to put in an installation. His name is Mapplethorpe.
Police said they learned the person who took possession of the plane took it to a scrapyard, but the trail ends there. Assistant Police Chief Russell Voiles said there's some sort of material inside the instruments that causes the glow at night, and as a result, the scrapyard cannot take them.
Well, where are the Hardy Boys when you need them?
Glitter. That's what they had.
Authorities in Springfield, Florida.
Authorities in Springfield, Florida? More like the Keystone Cops.
What was that park they were talking about?
Zoo World in Panama City Beach.
Zoo World.
Zoo World. Zoo World, a club in the meatpacking district.
Why Zoo World? Why not just zoo? You just need to call it a zoo.
I mean, there was Gatorland. a land of gators. And if you're going to Disney, Gatorland is the place to go. You're not going to want to go to Kissimmee. Every bone in your body is going to tell you not to go there. Gatorland's just lawless enough.
There was a place.
You're seeing something you're only going to see down there.
There was a place we used to go, and it was not Monkey World. It was called Noel's Ark. The guy's name was Noel, and he had a bunch of animals there, including the chimps and all these. And it was, horrific. This is probably 40 years ago at least. But they just had the chimps in cages, and they told us as they would they said they're gonna throw poo at you, just so you know. They will fling their poo.
Yeah, I'll fling it right back.
But they also told us they had to put all the bolts far enough away on the outside of the cage, because when they had the steel bolts on the cages on the inside, the chimps could unscrew them with their own hands and get out.
Yeah, because why would they want to get out, though? I mean, they're so happy in those cages.
But that hadn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
You should be all right down there.
Someone that I used to work with just took a relative to a place called the Ark, and it is in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it is described as a living history of Noah's Ark. It's a giant ark in a zoo, and a guy walking around like Jesus, the whole 9 yards. It's and this woman I used to work with, and I'm like, this is it does not live close to Cincinnati. Like, this was a trip to Cincinnati to go to the Ark, which is all well and good if it was like Bible Land Ark place, but it's called living history. That this is like, you go, this is the Ark.
Right.
Like, but based on the specifications, this is the Ark, and it's this giant, like, mall-size Ark, and they have a zoo next to it, and the guy walks around like Jesus. Now, do you think the guy that walks around in the Jesus costume is, like, really religious, or do you think he's just doing it for a paycheck?
Is it Jesus or is it Noah?
No, this is I would have to imagine Jesus.
Well, it's Noah's Ark.
I believe there's a Noah, too, but what I saw was we had a crown of thorns on, unless that was just, they were just passing it around. So I just, if you're Jesus, I wonder if you're super into the Bible, or if it's just like a paycheck. Like, like you just get out of the car, you get out of your Camaro, you flick a Marlboro 100 out of your finger, and then you put on the Jesus costume. They just found a guy with long hair and a beard and said, it's your job. Oof. All right, so we will be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
When dealing with the issue of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical condition. Every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. It's almost a given that better medical practice generally leads to better outcomes for patients, and if you suffer with erectile dysfunction, you certainly want a good outcome. Northeast Men's Health practices better medicine. They're the leader in treating men's sexual health issues in the Northeast, and they work. As you get older, you realize not just because people have a doctorate or specialize in a kind of medicine that they're the best. Northeast Men's Health are. Their treatments work when the pills and herbals fail. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%. Some treatments can even have you... are Toucher and Hardy. 617-779-0985. Tim, go ahead. Timothy. Tim, go ahead.
Hello?
Hi, Tim.
Yeah, I just want to say the thing about getting Paxton and Turner. That's good enough if you really want to do something. And, I mean, Paxton's a has-been, and Turner can't hit more than 250. I mean, they have the prospect, they have the money.
Yeah, but you got to go down and go. If you go down and go, it's going free agency. You're going to pay more.
They have money. They're not poor. They charge out for the seats. I mean,
but then if you go sit on two, then you're going to get rid of $400.
They have the money. They're not poor. I mean, it's not like the Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sell the Kool-Aid to someone else, but
yeah, you're going in there with someone else. Going to walk out there with witchcraft.
Did
they need to get a pitcher that's in his prime?
Yeah. All right. Very good.
Did he say something about flan? Is he ordering flan?
I don't know.
I would not have expected.
I don't like
Who
flan.
serves flan at 8:30 in the morning?
I'm not a big fan.
I'd hate flying anytime. You could wake me up in the middle of the night. I am, I'm flying Delta today, as I mentioned earlier in the show.
You going to Charleston today?
You see, these are like when I went to Hofstra, and look who I brought back with me.
That's right.
Look who I brought back from Hofstra with me. You were making fun of me about talking about going to Hofstra, and look who I brought back with me.
Yeah, the guy who just screened that phone call.
Yeah.
That's who you brought back.
I brought a guy.
Good point by you, Hardy.
I brought a little bit of love into this station.
Yes, you
I
did.
brought myself an intern back.
Mm-hmm.
There were supposed to be two of them, but only one.
Oh,
only one had the heart to
too
follow
bad.
through.
Oh.
But he's here, and yeah, I am going to Charleston, and it is bothering me. And I am flying Delta, and they have already moved the flight.
It's only an hour plus delay. Most people had their flights canceled.
Yeah,
Look
but
at it that way.
it's just an appetizer. We're still plenty of time before the flight.
Oh, so it is, you in your mind, you think this flight is going to be canceled?
I wouldn't mind if it was canceled. It's a direct flight, so I don't mind if it's canceled. If it's a direct flight, you can cancel it as much as you want. And then,
Sure.
it just
Put
delays
me on
me
the next
getting
one.
there.
Yeah, put me on one tomorrow.
But I did put I told you about my son, he who has the problem with the birds.
Yes.
And he who has the problem with his shoulder. He had an MRI, and then they said that he had these Latin terms that are wrong with his shoulder, but it's basically sprained, and he's got to build the strength back up. And I told you that when I say, what hurts? And he goes, my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, what? What part of your shoulder? The part on top of my arm. Yeah, I know. That's your shoulder. What part? The muscles and the bone. Yeah, where? Can you point to it? Dumbass, it's up here. I know you're touching your shoulder, but when you throw, what specific part hurts, and how does it hurt? Is it a throbbing? Is it a sore? Is it a stinging? It hurts. Yes, but can you describe the pain? Describe this. My shoulder hurts. You think I'm lying? No, I don't. I'm going to get you an MRI. Well, then quit with the questions. And then we'll sit there with the doctor, and the doctor will go, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Milo, did you understand that? Oh. All right, Milo, okay. Doctor, so what should he do? He can't pitch. Okay, he can't pitch. Can he play positions? Yes, I think that it would be okay at this tournament if he played in the field. If he didn't play middle infield, but he's lefty, so he won't. If he didn't play third, short, or second. Okay, so he has to do PT. He can strengthen it up. We'll meet right before he goes away to baseball camp, and I'll probably clear him to pitch. Great. Get off the phone. Milo, did you understand what happened? Yep. Like later that night, Milo, what are you going to tell your coach? Tell him what? Tell him what you're able to do during the tournament. Huh? Can you tell him that you're not able to pitch, but you're able to play positions? Who said that?
Oh, boy.
Like, oh, my God, dude, the doctor.
Oh, boy.
I put a picture of him and his mother up on Instagram to show that I still have a relationship with his ex. I'm that good a guy.
He is tall.
You should do more of that on your Instagram.
I'm still...
Man.
Thanks, Kate. I really should. I've had people tell me in my personal life, they say, like, you're such a jerk. Like, why don't you're not like that in real life? Why don't you put your real personality on Instagram? You're a good father. I said, how the hell am I supposed to do that? And if I do, what do I get? What do I get if I develop my Instagram account? Say I have 1 million Instagram followers. What do I get? Do I get more money than I'm making on the radio? No. So what do I get? If I want to go through this whole thing, what do I get? That's what everyone on Instagram, they can't describe to me. I put 1.1 TikTok followers. So what? What do you get? What do you receive?
Incredible amounts of love from the general public.
I find that very difficult to believe.
Everyone follows you basically because you're an awesome individual. Everybody loves you. That's why they follow.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
That's how I see it anyway.
Even the mean comments on the photo were funny.
Okay. But
they almost have a Tony P situation.
Milo is 6'3", right?
Yeah, he's getting there, yeah.
I mean, is he taller than you now? He's got to be taller than you.
Yeah, he's taller than me.
Wow.
And I was just measured at 6'2", a hair under 6'2".
And he's 16?
He's 16.
When were you measured, and for what reason?
When I went to the doctor to get my prescriptions. Remember, I went to the doctor.
And they took your height?
Weight and height.
Huh.
They don't do that to you, Johnny boy?
Every time I have my physical, yes.
Yeah, they take your weight and height. Every time you go to the doctor.
I can't remember the last time they saw how tall I was.
Well, it's the same apparatus. The scale has the stick on it.
Yes. You get on the scale, and then they extend that big metal
It's not
thing
a
up in
big-
front of you.
it's not a big production.
The arm extends so it touches the top of your head.
I can't remember having that done as an adult. Once you're done growing, you're just kind of done.
Maybe they feel that they don't want to embarrass you.
It's right after weight. Height follows right after that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. The woman that's the assistant, I think you're the one.
Maybe Fred
that might
and I
have
go
the
to the
odd
weird
experiences.
I just get my physicals at the Minute Clinic.
Okay.
I hop
They
into
still measure you at the Minute Clinic.
not at the CVS. They don't. You just hop in there
because it's the same apparatus. It's the scale with the stick on it. And then they raise the stick and they measure you. They do it every time because you shrink. I've shrunk like probably a quarter of an inch, 2/4 of an inch. Billy, go ahead.
Freddie T, I've been listening for so long, sitting here, I'm actually getting angry thinking of just Milo being 6'3". But anyway, you got to cancel your flight.
Do you remember when he was born? Have you
the
been listening to when I was on the air in the hospital while he was being born?
Oh, not that old.
And listeners were bringing beers to me in the hospital.
That's amazing.
And the nurses were bringing me the beers. It was great.
Sweet.
It was super fun. All right, Billy, go ahead.
That worked out well for you.
That wasn't that bad that time. Billy, go ahead.
Wow.
I was managing my life. Billy, go ahead.
Let's talk about that wedding. I was thinking about that wedding the other day.
What wedding?
The wedding where you had the run-in with the people there.
Oh yeah, they were ridiculous.
Yeah, tapping out. That was around that same time.
Yeah, but that wasn't that they overreacted. Billy, go ahead.
Freddie, you got to get off of Delta. So my mother-in-law came into town to visit for the weekend, and thank God we get along because we dropped her off at Logan on Sunday. And then we got the call later on Sunday during the day around 5:30 that her flight got delayed 5 or 6 times. And finally they just canceled her till Wednesday. And then she found out Wednesday that one got canceled. And she called Delta, and they said they might not be ready for another week.
Yeah, that's the thing is that I don't mind getting stranded here. And the thing about Delta is that they're usually the best, and they also, I got diamond status on it because of my credit cards. So I really want to fly Delta because the experience is just so much easier for me, and they handle everything better for you. But if I had a connection, I would be losing my mind right now. Because it might still be a crap show, and if I'm trapped in Charleston on Sunday, oh boy!
Yeah.
What, do you got one of them Delta Sky Miles credit cards? Is that what
I
you
got
use?
2 of them.
Ooh. But right now, only delayed an hour.
Can't
right?
hide credit.
Right now, only delayed. You're definitely going today. Today's your day.
I know. Me and the Monopoly guy just sit around looking at our credit scores all day, going, "Woo!
Look how much money I could spend foolishly."
Absolutely. One of the cards doesn't have a limit on it.
I got one of those.
Yeah, you got the platinum.
Yeah.
They gave that to me at an early age, too. They're like, sure, go ahead.
The metal one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes in the bamboo box.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got another card, like the Delta Sky Miles card I have is supposed to be metal, but they give you an option of not getting it metal. So I said, I don't want the metal. The metal's a little pretentious.
I like throwing it down on the counter. Clank.
Well, now everyone's got one.
Apparently. I've got one.
Right. The black card, though. Have you ever investigated the black card?
No. And the only reason why I got that stupid
good.
metal one is because my buddy says, oh, you should get one. You can get in at all the airport lounges.
That's why I got mine, too.
And then try and go to an airport lounge. Guess what happens? No, we're full. You can't come in right now.
I've never had that happen to me.
I've had it happen the 2 times I've tried to go into one. I'm like, well, this is stupid. I just want to go to a Hudson News anyway.
I have 3 cards that can get me into lounges, and they only can get me into lounges. I still have to pay $50 for my kids to get in.
So you don't do that, do you?
That's money well spent a lot of times.
Oh, you're insane.
2.5 hour layover, you're saving money.
What's a 2.5 hour layover?
You ever go to Knoxville, Tennessee?
Well, I stopped going.
I have an answer to all of these questions.
Okay.
You ever go to Knoxville, Tennessee?
No, but the closest thing I can say is Nebraska, and I stopped making those trips to Omaha a few years ago.
Yeah, you're 2.5 hours. It's not even bad, but if you go to the Atlanta airport, I'm saving money because 2 kids walking around the airport are spending a lot more than $50. $50 to sit, and there's free soda and free Wi-Fi.
Just
and
see Milo
everything.
going into the luggage store in the mall.
Yeah. Then guess what? I got a great deal on a fanny pack.
They sell headphones here, too. Beats by Dre in a vending machine.
Yep. Where's the claw? I keep putting my dollars in, and it just keeps giving me the headphones. Dad, I put your credit card in here 10 times. It gave me headphones every time the machine's broken. Mal, you ran up $2,000 in charges. But there was no claw. I asked for the money back. All right, Gerard Mayo had a big press conference yesterday. We will have that for you in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Patriots will be.
by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 617-779-0985. Kendra Middleton with her Olympic picks. Did we tell her that we wanted the Olympics? She will be here. And her and Hardy can figure out when they'll get together and have their fun. I'm leaving right after the show. So you guys figure it out if you want.
Okay.
If not, who am I to say?
Yeah, we were planning on doing it tomorrow because normally she's here on Thursday, but now it's Wednesday, so...
Why is it... Now, you guys wanted her today.
Well, yeah, because we thought it would be better when you were here, when, the gang's all here, and have it be as normal as... What? This is a long way of saying it's going to be delayed at least another week, and there's no way around it. It can't be helped.
I understand.
The calendar is what it is. You can't change time.
Hardy, no one's arguing with time. Father Time's going to win every time. Time after time. Listen, if you fall, I'll catch you. That's all you need to know.
I'll be waiting time after time.
And if you're feeling guilty, she bop, we bop, you bop, everyone bops. It's a song about playing with yourself.
Did
you know that?
Yes, I did know that.
In the first video that Cyndi Lauper, or is in just one of the guys, the protagonist or the antagonist, I guess, as Cyndi Lauper refers to her. In that first video she did for Girls Just Want to Have Fun, I get the sense that they did not do multiple takes of the scenes between her and Captain Lou Albano. There are a couple of miscues. Some of the blocking is off.
There is a
the arm turn, it doesn't. He doesn't. I don't think he lip syncs properly on a couple of them. I think they were like one take. Good.
What you're going to do with your life is what he says. Now, there is, when telling the story of Cyndi Lauper, a lot of people will say her affiliation with Captain Lou Albano in professional wrestling cost her career for a time. A lot of people say that she was that it was weird and that no one could really figure it out, and that she kind of alienated a certain audience because she was parading around. Remember, she was all over WrestleMania 1, if you'll recall. Yeah, you don't recall that?
I do not.
That was the $10,000 slam match.
You saw her in
Big John Studd
in the We Are the World documentary.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's drunk.
That sounds, drunk after an award show? How dare she? At 2 o'clock in the morning when they were recording?
She must have
had a problem.
A bunch of rock stars in L.A.
Yeah.
had been drinking. That's unprofessional.
That all had limousines to take them after an award show instead of a party to a recording session. Boy, Cyndi Lauper should really...
grow up.
That should have been a reckoning. As someone who has been to rehab, I got to tell you, that is a warning shot. You were drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning after a party? You have a problem with alcohol and drugs.
That might be worth watching again. That was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Did you like it?
I don't know which one you saw, because I saw one that I thought was kind of boring, but because it was just about how important Lionel Richie was.
And I think that's the one that I saw. Yeah, it was like the host of the AMAs that night.
It's mostly Lionel Richie, but I didn't know he was like that big a part
Neither
of it.
did I.
And the writing of it, and them trying to get Stevie Wonder on board, and Michael Jackson was actually kind of, one of the worker bees on that thing. He was like, I'm not going off to any party or anything. We got a song to do tonight.
And how Sheila E. was completely just she was completely used to try and get Prince to the thing.
Yeah.
And she finally caught on about an hour into it.
Is that the one where they're talking about how incredibly gifted Michael Jackson was, and they show him like alone in the studio? Like,
yes. I think that's the same
like
one.
making the melody for it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that one.
I thought it was really good. It's better than I thought it would be.
I didn't think it was bad. It didn't move me as much as it moved you, but that's not your fault nor my fault. It's just the lens we see the world through, sir, the prism.
What lens does Gerard Mayo see this Patriots team through these days?
Fantastic.
Well, Gerard Mayo, with his first, introductory press conference before training camp, this is a year of first. He should not be the coach this year, obviously. That was not the plan. The plan was Belichick to coach another year, get the record, and then leave. Mm-hmm. But Bill Belichick, you have to admit, was so horrible and dysfunctional in his, his assessment of players that they forced the Kraft's hand. And the Kraft said also, in order to keep Mayo around, had guaranteed him a certain amount of money. So they had to pay him $10 million if they didn't give him the job. So here we are with Mayo a year early, which may serve Mayo And the reason is because if it was handed over neatly, maybe more would be expected of him.
Yeah, even an 8-9 record handed over to you. All right, well, now the expectations are for you to, at the very least, match or maybe get yourself back above 500.
And if Belichick was still in charge, I guarantee you they wouldn't have taken May.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
they probably would have traded down at least once. Oh, yeah.
He met the media, as players reported yesterday. Of course, camp starts later on this morning, and of course, he was questioned about the starting quarterback.
Jacoby is the starting quarterback at this point in time. We can look at these other quarterbacks on the roster at the same time. Like, it's about competition. And so when we get out on the field this summer with the pads on, we'll see how it all plays out. I think it's clear that Jacoby is the most pro-ready guy we have.
So he's the starting quarterback until he's not.
But see, I think that is, number one, a good way of answering that, and that's the most honest way of answering it. He told you. This isn't some charade where he's going to say, we don't know who's starting in any position right now. I just got here. They just got here. We're going to see. No, Jacoby Brissett is the starter.
Yeah, he's going to get the reps with the ones, and I would want him to. I don't even think May really needs to get a lot of reps with the ones because you don't want him playing, especially with the questions at the offensive line that they have right now. There are a lot of questions, and they got guys playing out of position, and they are going to force to at least start one rookie. You really don't want Drake May playing in this. We talked to Christopher Price before last hour, and he was talking about Pop Douglas is your receiver with the biggest upside.
He's their according to Chris, he is probably their best receiver right now.
And if Pop Douglas can stay healthy for 17 games, that is a feat of science because Pop Douglas is little. And so, it's not good. So if I'm a Patriot fan, I want Drake May to get a lot of reps in the preseason. I want him to take a couple hits even. I want him to, but I want Jacoby Brissett being the starting quarterback for this offense.
You need to see if once they start playing other teams, you need to see if that offensive line can hold up longer than 3 seconds.
All right, so we'll get to the offensive line in a second, but before we move off of this whole quarterback competition, do you believe him? Do you believe him when he says
yes? Because
it's a competition.
Because of course it's a competition because I want them competing because in a competition it raises everyone's game, and it's also unfair to May say under no circumstances you're playing. Like if Drake May came out there and by whatever measure or whatever metric you use, he goes out there and he's like the best quarterback anyone's ever seen, and he's so far and away better than Brissett. Yeah, he should be able to get the job.
Yes,
but that's not going to
I
happen.
also think. Well, hold on one second. I think also what he's seen over the summer and the media portions of these mini camps and mandatory mini camps, you've seen Drake May make plays. You go, oh, okay, now I get why he was drafted 3rd overall. Mayo sees that, and that's the reason that May's still in the conversation.
Okay, and it's going to be a competition in that they're both going to get reps, and they will compare the two. But if at the end of camp they look at the two, and even if May is slightly better,
yeah, I think you play Brissett.
You're still going to play Brissett. So to that extent, not a true competition. They're not going in even. He told you.
No, no competition's a true equal competition. There's always, with anything, even if it's subconscious, there's your favorite and the guy you want to get it. There's a guy that's going to have to work harder.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens all the time. In sports, all the time. Because if you think about it, think of how many quarterbacks. Look at Tom Brady, right? If Bill Belichick's not the coach, the biggest credit you could ever give to Bill Belichick, in my opinion, is if Bill Belichick's not the coach of the Patriots, Tom Brady might never have played in the NFL. Because there would have been a tremendous amount of pressure with Bledsoe just getting paid and Bledsoe being number 1 overall pick. The owners loved Bledsoe. It took like an a-hole to play Brady.
And to continue playing him once Bledsoe was ready to come back.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's amazing. So you got to think, in the history of football, how many quarterbacks have been drafted or not drafted that had they been in the right situation could have been Hall of Famers?
Yeah.
And how many, guys that were jabronis started over guys that were good? Remember when Heath Shuler was the 3rd pick in the draft and they took that Farad kid?
Gus Farad. Yep.
And then Gus Farad ended up knocking himself out by headbutting the pylon.
One of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
In a celebration.
He raced through the end zone, was so excited, put his head down and headbutted a concrete wall. and was injured.
Oh, it
That
was
was
the wall. It wasn't the field goal. But okay, so he had better a wall and he knocked himself out. But they ended up playing Farad over Schuler.
Yep.
So, I don't think it's a true competition, but it is a competition. If May again is just like this savant, this like unbelievable, incredible rookie quarterback with no offensive line and crappy weapons.
No,
then God bless him.
You are hoping that this is the only time that you pick high enough to get a franchise quarterback. And if that's the case, you got one swing at this kid. You can't ruin him. The Jets had that problem. You can't ruin him. And look what happened to the Jets. They really struggled for a while, and now you're all in. And if they don't win this year, you've wrecked the franchise.
And if you go back and because Zach Wilson's first offensive coordinator is not his offensive coordinator anymore, or wasn't with the Jets, and they would go and ask him, and he's like, "We really screwed up. Like the kid needed time," and that's what happened last year. Is he was the backup, and Rodgers got hurt after 4 plays, and their expectation was because they thought he was talented. Their expectation was let him sit for a year, calm down, learn. And then, 4 plays into the season, he's thrown back in there.
That defense will probably keep you out of range to draft another franchise-altering quarterback. So you get one chance to bring this kid along. If all things being equal, sit him, especially with that offensive line the way it is.
You mentioned that again. He mentioned that yesterday briefly.
We're going to put the best 5 players out there on the field as an offensive line. If that means you got to play guard or play tight, I don't know. And we'll see, and it'll play itself out in camp. But that's my mindset. It's about putting the best players on the field.
Interchangeable. Get 5 big guys out there and then figure out where they're going to play.
To my understanding, that is not how the positions are played, but nonetheless... And you're begging for injury,
too. You've already drafted one guy at one position who hasn't played that position, presumably to play that position. So there's going to be some of that anyway.
Drafted a right tackle to be a left tackle.
You're begging,
right, left.
Begging for injury.
Maybe he's amphibious. He can do both.
Amphibious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. All right. Kendra Middleton is here.
Yes.
And she's brought a snake. Keeping with the amphibians.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Check it and see. Well, that's hot-blooded. All right, we'll be back.
What's your fever?
103.
Come on, baby. You can do more than dance.
That song sucks. All right, we will be right back.
Football is officially back in Foxborough this morning as the Patriots get ready to hold their first practice of training camp under new head coach Gerard Mayo. He officially named Jacoby Brissett the starting quarterback for now.
I understand this league, and I understand how every day is a challenge, every day is a competition, and I look forward to that, and I feed off that, and looking to go out there and prove it every day.
The workout begins at 11 a.m. behind Gillette Stadium. It's open to the public. Everyone has reported to work, and that includes Matthew Judon and Devon Godchow. Our live coverage of camp begins at 10 with 98.5 The Sports Hub, Zolek and Bertrand live from Gillette Stadium. Offensive linemen Cole Strange, Jake Andrews, Kendrick Bourne, and linebacker Sione Taki have all been placed on the PUP list. Running back Antonio Gibson has landed on the non-football injury list. The Red Sox snapped a 4-game losing streak with a 6-0 win in Denver last night over the Colorado Rockies. Tyler O'Neill, 2 homers. Nick Pivetta faces the Rockies this afternoon. The Boston Globe is reporting the Sox have reached out to the Dodgers about a possible trade for lefty James Paxton. Although opening ceremonies are until Friday, the Summer Olympics get underway today in Paris. Men's soccer's on the schedule. The U.S. men play France this afternoon, and Salt Lake City has today been named the host city for the 2034 Winter Games. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by L&F Electrical Services. Don't spend another summer suffering from the heat. Have a mini split system installed by L&F Electrical Services and keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Visit lfelectricalservice.com. Proudly veteran-owned and operated. That's lfelectricalservice.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Everybody, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. The YouTube very funny today. Riz says, I know you look at it, and I really don't. Hardy can attest to it. I don't look at the YouTube.
No.
But Hardy told me, I got enough. Enough people don't like me. Again, never in my career have I turned around and gone, you know what? The public support here is really off the hook. But you are getting funnier. I put my ex-wife, the mother of my son, in a picture of her and my son because it was a picture I was taking anyway. And then we started talking about it. I said, I'll put it on Instagram because it is weird because a lot of you were around. Some of you were around when my son was born. I was on the air with the show. We were doing afternoons at BCN. And I was on the phone with the show while my wife was, she wasn't in labor, but while we were in the hospital for her to have him. So you were a part of all this. And now the kid's 6'3". And his mom's 5'10", and he's quite a bit taller than her. I put it up, and even the insulting comments are funny. And that's all I've ever asked for, is to be funny. If they're legitimately funny, even if they're at my expense, I enjoy it. But I did find them funny.
Yeah.
So there you go. And don't make fun of kids, which is just a rule I've said. But no one does. So there you go. Kendra Middleton, she needs to get more of an online presence. That's what she's missing. I'll tell you that. Kendra, who is the belle of the ball at the F1 place. Now Wallach wants in the F1 place.
I do. My kids are interested, so we're probably going to
I went to the F1 place. I have a friend of mine, a big F1 fan. He left me there because he had friends in from out of town. And they called him earlier than he thought, but then he let me play the country club with him later that day, so all was forgiven.
Smart.
Kendra is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. She has her palms on the desk prepared. She has Olympic bets for you today. But bad news, Kendra. Hardy and you cannot make your video today.
Yeah, it was
What's
planned.
the excuse this week?
There's no excuse. We're supposed to do it on Thursday. Were we not going to do it on Thursday?
We were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, today is Wednesday.
Do you want me to come in tomorrow?
Interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
Got him.
Well, there has been a change in my
your schedule?
personal schedule. I am now taking Friday off.
Oh, that is fair.
All right.
Summer Friday.
Touche.
So you know how it is on a day where you don't have to be here the next day. What happens at 10 a.m.?
Oh, you're out of here at 9:55.
You're out of here.
Well, yes, I have a 16-year-old boy who can't point to where his shoulder hurts. Getting him to the airport on my own. I've been through this exercise before.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Mom didn't pack this. Mom. And then he looks in the suitcase again. Never mind. That's the big thing.
But he's 6'3", though. You had to drop that.
No, that's why I put the photo up. Yeah, he can dunk and everything.
I have never heard you say that, not even once.
He should be dunking with that shoulder right now.
That's a good point.
No, he's not. Because then you're hanging on the rim. No, he's not dunking with that shoulder. Don't you worry. We're one step ahead of you. Kendra, are you saying I'm saying things too much?
No.
Are you saying I'm repeating myself?
No, I'm just saying you're a proud father.
Kendra, is that wrong?
No, not at all.
Kendra?
Stop. So the fact is we can't do it this week. I can't do it today, and I can't do it tomorrow. So fingers crossed for next week.
Okay, fingers crossed.
I hope.
I hope your schedule is, prepped and ready.
I'll double check it.
Okay.
I'll double check it while we're here.
Triple check it.
He has when we leave, he'll shut the door to the conference room where we meet, and he'll get out his calendar.
Yeah.
And he'll feverishly be on the phone.
When can I do this?
Marty, I'll come in on a day that I'm not supposed to be here.
Okay. Yeah, that's
No, Kendra, it's very clear that you're willing. It is. We know where the problem lies.
I gave Fred a sneak peek of some of the stuff that
you're
prepped.
keeping some of the.
A man had fashioned a cage of some sort for himself, but only for one part of his body. I'd actually never seen it before. Yeah, Kendra showed it to me this weekend.
I didn't bring it up this time. I'd like it to be known.
Huh?
I said I didn't bring it up this time.
Oh, yeah, I said,
did.
Kendra, do you have any pictures of something I've never seen before, like a guy's unit in a cage? and then she was like, oh, yeah, I just happened to have
one here.
I don't know how it got brought up, but I saw it. Whatever.
It's good. You
it's
just
not like you
happen to have that.
I'm glad you showed it to me. It was funny. But she gets sent things that is just going to piss Hardy off so badly because it's the internet and it's going to piss Hardy off. But she did show me a picture. It's a man. Now, this was sent only to you. He did this for you.
Yeah.
So he had put himself in a cage. Now, what kind of cage? Can't figure that part out. Now, do you respond to that?
No, he doesn't even know that I opened it.
Okay, good. Oh, well, okay.
Now
guy with the cage, I'm sorry.
But he will once you highlight him in one of your videos.
Well, I can't because then I would get kicked off the internet. I can't put that online. I did that.
Plus, he would be humiliated, and I don't think that's his game. I think he would hate it if you publicly humiliated him.
That's another reason I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
You don't know how to pixelate?
I do, but you can get in trouble for bullying.
Yeah.
Again,
that's
I
unfair.
think that might be the end game here.
It's not so much that you can get in trouble. It's just
people can
See, that's the thing. I have taken some notes from Hardy.
Yeah.
I no longer want to highlight people who are just trying to be mean or embarrassing. I actually just want to people who have solid chirps at me. I think that's like Fred saying, it's okay if it's at my expense if it's funny.
Okay. Yeah. If it's funny, I actually like it.
Me
I
too.
get it. And I get it too. Especially I know I'm making myself vulnerable by putting a picture of my ex-wife up who happens to be attractive. I get those jokes are coming. And so I'm aware of it and it's funny. And I'm glad that people think they know me well enough. They know all the story. And they've been a part of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's funny. If you want to chirp me and it's good, let's
and I will move on from this subject, but I do have to ask, because if we were having a normal conversation off air, I'd ask you this too. What percentage of these guys want to be humiliated, and do you think this is a new concept? Do you think if the internet was around 20 years ago, as many of a percentage of guys would want to be actively humiliated and made fun of as there are today?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a kink. I would say probably less than 20% that's what they're after, and then the rest of them either are just mad that they have no chance with me, so they take it out on me, or two, they just have a gripe and they want to get it out, which is fine with me.
What's the most effective way, if you were reaching out to someone on the internet, to not be a creep and to be where you would be oh, that guy seems cool?
I will say 90% of the messages I get are all nice people. It's just that 10% kind of,
Yeah, no, I
there's
understand.
content out of it. 90% of people are not trying to be a creep, you rock, or thanks for the pics, or whatever. I love those people. I will respond to every message like that I see. It's not guaranteed that I'm going to see all those messages.
Sure.
You guys know how it goes, but I really try to get back to everyone who's nice to me.
And the problem is that sometimes the 10% for most human beings outweighs the 90%. Like you take the 10% negative much more to heart than you take 90%. In fact, it could be even it could be even more tilted in the other way. It depends how you're feeling that day too. Like sometimes things get to you and sometimes things don't get to you. It's weird.
As long as it's not about like my family or something like that, free range, go for it.
Yeah. You can't. The family's off limits.
Yeah.
All right. So
we'll do the fetish enabling video next week.
It's not fetish enabling. I'm not going to show you those. I'm just going to show you either.
You got to show them at least a couple.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
Is this consensual? I don't know. That's the issue, Hardy.
You are very. What happened? You're very big into this consensual thing right now.
Oh, no. Oh, darn. Consent. How terrible.
Consent.
I can't show this guy a wiener without his consent. Come on.
It's a 50-year-old man. Yes, you can.
I don't know. Hardy, what's your...
I've never seen one other than my own.
Oh, well, let's change that right now. Wallach, stand up.
He's all in.
Yeah, I don't. I think it. I think Generation X. Male consent to see disturbing images is not required.
Yes. How about this? Publicly, right now, we'll state you can record it however you want. You have my consent.
Okay.
To continue with this project.
I did do the hard work myself. I pulled all the DMs so that you don't.
Oh,
have
you
to,
did it?
Yeah, so that you don't have to sit there and go through all of them. I
thank
pulled
God.
the ones that I want. I'm going to make this as quick and painless for Hardy as possible
Only
because I don't want him to hate me.
Only the best of the best.
He's not going to hate you.
No.
You understand that.
I hate the internet.
Yes.
But I don't hate you.
I know, but
you wouldn't be on the show if Hardy didn't like you.
I know. I'm not worried. Even if Hardy didn't like me, that's okay. Not everyone's going to.
Everyone loves Kendra. All right,
Oh, here we
Kendra,
go.
when we go... What?
Before we come
Except
back,
for me.
Before we move forward on, because you can't bet the Olympics. We're going to talk about betting.
Which is the only reason
yeah.
to watch it. Bet against Team USA.
Just a quick recap. Did you bet British Open at all?
I did. I was here last week.
Oh, yeah. I got annihilated.
Me too. So bad.
It's the worst beating I've taken betting a single sporting event since I got. Well, it's only been a year and a half of mobile betting.
Because we were pretty similar last week. So if you got your butt kicked, I got my butt kicked.
Absolutely killed it, and I chased.
Did
over the weekend and again, not wisely, but because I wanted Billy Horschel to win. So I chased with Horschel, and I chased with Rose because I wanted him to win too. And well, we know how
Oberg really screwed me not making the cut.
Oh, I had a couple of those like multiple bets and taking your advice on these things, like pick 3 guys to finish top 10 or 3 guys to finish top 20. It's not a crazy payout, but it's plus money, of course.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do okay. And I thought I had 3 really solid picks for a top 20, a top 10, and a top 20 finish, and 2 of them did not even make the cut.
Yeah, going into it, it's one of those courses where pretty much it's anybody's game going into it, and that was the big thing for me, is that I felt that I could kind of get away with some of the Oberg bets and stuff like that, but I don't know. Good for Xander.
All right. So now that's under the rug, and we can move on.
Well, we can come back with golf for the Olympics. How about that?
Boy. Oh, that's a degenerate gamble.
Yeah.
Xander Schauffele, defending gold medalist.
I don't care about Olympic golf. I'll watch it. If it's on, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to seek it out. I'm not going to appointment view it. No.
I got mostly basketball, so that's good.
Yes.
Mostly basketball.
Good.
America.
Yeah. That's good.
Let's go.
And
let's go, America.
Can you do a couple of sprinting things for Johnny? He's a big 100-meter guy.
Do you?
Oh,
second week is all about.
Who do you like in the hammer throw?
Yeah,
he went so against Jesse Owens. He faded Jesse Owens so much in that Olympics for more cultural reasons, which he'll never do again.
It was a personal thing.
Yeah, he's like Jesse cannot win.
Here comes the emails. Perfect. Just what I need.
Make sure you get the John right in the email.
JON at 985thesportshub.com. But he might like you personally who sent it to him. He said what he likes. John's having fun right now. Oh, inside stuff. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. We are Toucher and Hardy. Kendra Middleton is here, and she's going to take us through the Olympic Games. Is there anything, we've already talked about it as a show. John's a track and field guy. Hardy's not even interested really in the golf. He said he'll put it on if it's on.
I'm surprised by that.
But it's like such a low stakes thing. It's like tennis in the Olympics, right? Like, who cares? You don't remember who won the gold medal in tennis. What is there anything you're particularly interested in?
Basketball. I've been really, really following a lot of the basketball stuff going on, and I think that's where the money is probably to be made because, I mean, the books are going to be a bit sharper because obviously there's a lot of players that people watch. There's been a lot of friendlies and stuff like that going on, but I still think that there's money to be made, whereas unless you really follow, you know, like John with the track and field or the swimming or whatever, I think that...
Right. Because to my knowledge, the U.S. men's basketball team the odds have gotten shorter for them.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the week, they were like minus 400. I think it's about minus 500 right now just because of the South Sudan game and then how Germany kind of stayed with them in their last game. So I think it's just about kind of finding value. If you think that if you are so wholeheartedly confident that this team is going to win this tournament and win this gold medal, then I don't think that the value is that terrible. I think it could be worse considering that they are the best basketball players on the planet. That being said, I do have a pretty hefty wager on their game against Serbia for Serbia to cover 16 points. I got it at 16. I think it's about 14. You might be able to get it at 15 right now, something like that, depending if you do some shopping.
Well, one thing about the U.S. team that you've learned is if they don't get up early in games, that's a problem for them. So if you're looking at a 16-point spread, now Serbia, they beat Serbia by a lot, I believe, when they played the friendly.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
But the thing is that when they don't get those early leads, you know, against Spain, it took LeBron James carrying them in the fourth quarter. They were down at the half, like Kendra said, to South Sudan. When teams like figure out, like, okay, we're not going to get crushed, it becomes more competitive.
They were down in the fourth quarter to Germany. The only difference,
Germany, not Spain.
The only difference is that Kevin Durant didn't play in any of those games, and he's expected to play on Sunday.
Yeah, but is he going to? I'm asking, is he going to make a difference defensively?
Yeah, well, so I think that that's the big thing here. I have something that leads into that, but I just want to say that I don't think that Serbia is short of talent either. I mean, like, Jokic is playing for them, but they have Bogdanovic. Like, I don't think that they're short of talent, and I think that the fact that Jokic has had some time to play with his ponies also plays into helping them cover 16 points. But that being said, because this team is, you know, got a lot of it's so funny to sit here and be like older guys when, you know, LeBron's 40, Steph Curry, whatever. Like, they have a little bit of older guys who have to take care of their body to a different degree to make their, you know, NBA regular season matter into the postseason and those types of things. Those you have to look at those situations. So a huge future that I laid is Anthony Edwards as the tournament MVP is plus 700 right now. He's a young guy coming into the Olympics, coming off of a good season. I think it could be a good coming out party for him as far as like a national standpoint. And the only two people ahead of him for that award right now are LeBron and Steph Curry, and I do expect them, because they're older and they have to take care of their body to a different degree at this point in their career, to maybe let Anthony Edwards kind of, you know, start to take over this team.
What about Anthony Davis, who is the real key to this team? What's his odds?
So I don't know what his odds for MVP are. I know that he's really favored for the tournament rebound leader right now. I think that he's probably about like plus 200, plus 210 to win that award, which I don't hate those odds. I think that he obviously is going to be great on the boards. That he's going to have to, you know, this entire team is going to have to step up. They really want to bring home some medals, because this has just been kind of a hee-hee-ha-ha silly performance from them so far.
So it's only, you know, gold medal betting that we're talking about. Silver medal betting, that's where you get plus money for the United States. They're at plus 400. I don't know if that's worth a bet, but I think there's some interesting countries, long odds to win a medal. And you mentioned South Sudan.
Yes.
Like, I wouldn't go that far, but they're one of the long shots at plus 5,500, and after the game they gave the U.S. team, I wonder.
So the two kind of longer shot teams that I'm currently looking at are Australia and Germany. Australia in the last Olympics had a really good come out, and I get that, you know, people are probably sitting here, all right, Patty Mills, you know, Dante Exum, Josh Giddey. I get that Josh Giddey didn't have the best end to his season, and it kind of ebbed and flowed as far as his performances, but I think that he's one of these young guys who could probably have a good national showing. Australia, like I said, I think that they won the bronze medal in the 2020 Olympics. I think that they're a good team to look at.
And they're a team.
And their odds are, you know, a little bit longer, so I don't hate that. And then when you look at Germany, I think that obviously, I don't know what it is about Dennis Schroeder playing so well at a national level, but he's one of the most athletic people across the board that I've ever seen. You've obviously got both the Wagners. I think that, and Daniel Tice too. Like, I think that those are teams with long enough odds that you could convince me to get to the window on.
What are the odds for Canada to win gold?
I think they're at 1,100 right now, 11-1, something like that.
Canada has a dozen NBA players on it.
Yeah, they have a really good team.
It's France. France is the team.
France has played here's the thing that I don't understand. All of these, betting experts are really high on France because they're the home country. But if I'm not mistaken, they've lost the last 4 of their games. Unless they can really get it rolling.
It's because they're so big.
I don't really care. Like, they're not playing well. And the fact that you're going into your home tournament not off of a couple of wins, I think that doesn't bode well for them.
So you're fading France.
I'm absolutely fading France.
You should care that they're big, and basketball height is a huge thing.
I agree. I don't know about
Disagree?
that.
Well,
agree to disagree, I suppose.
France plus 1,500. I don't think that's enough to make me lay down any real money on it.
I get that it looks nice because you always kind of want to chase a home nation. I know that you guys didn't keep up with the Euros, but one of the reasons that I chased...
Don't rub it in. Don't flex like that. Jesus, Kendra, how dare you?
One of the reasons that I chased Germany a little bit was the fact that they might have been an older team, but they were still a host nation, and that comes into play. But unless France comes out and has a really good first showing, you could maybe get me to go on some of their, bets down the line, but I'm not willing to right now. They're not.
Well, you do it down the line and then you lose the odds. You gotta, strike while the odds are high.
Then I'm not getting to the window unless you want me to be you and just sell it later.
France is an easy group too.
I could do that.
It's just Germany and France, and then Brazil and Japan. I can't imagine they're any good.
No, I was doing some research on Brazil earlier because I thought I could get to.
All right,
you could convince me, but no.
What about this women's team? They lost to the All-Star team.
Yeah, they did. But that doesn't really bother me. Dan and I went into depth on that on Saturday, and we'll probably go more into it this coming Saturday because we both love women's basketball. But I just don't think that the odds are good enough for the odds just aren't good enough.
Is there another country that's good at women's basketball?
Honestly, kind of the same countries that are good at men's basketball happen to be good at women's basketball. So, I can't get to the window on Team USA for the women. I feel like it's just one of those things where the odds aren't good enough, and if they don't bring home a gold, it's just what are we doing?
How is Daniel?
I think Daniel's doing great. He's lost. You guys haven't seen Dan in a while. He's lost a lot of weight. He's kind of a skinny legend.
Good for Dan.
Yeah.
Is he doing yoga and things of that nature?
I don't know what he's doing. I think he's eating healthy and walking and all that kind of stuff. But, Party Shots is back.
Okay.
Party Shots is back.
Does he do your hot dog dance?
He did one time drunkenly.
Really?
I do.
In studio?
No,
he got drunk that early in the morning?
Wow.
No, we were at a bar. I think that Lockhart might have that video. Jamelli might. One of them. Yeah, but Dan did do the hot dog dance.
Okay. Did he do a somersault like John Belushi style?
No, I honestly would pay good money to see Dan do a somersault.
But then would you agree to pay for his medical bills?
He has insurance, so yeah.
Okay. Well, an ambulance is still an ambulance. It doesn't pay for itself.
I don't think Dan would need an ambulance. Do you?
If he broke his neck.
Would you need an ambulance after doing a somersault?
No, but I'm also a great athlete. It takes testosterone.
I still think that the station should have a combine. I've been saying this.
All right. If the station had a combine, what would be the events?
I don't know. We have so many. No, I can't say that.
We have so many what?
I feel like so many of the on-air talent definitely don't run or lift, so we might have to, X that out.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. Everyone's in peak shape here.
All right. So if you had to pick 5 on-air members to form a starting 5 on a basketball team, who would you pick?
On a basketball team.
Let's say that's the sport acquiring the most athletic skill.
I'd say Zolak would be.
He would have to be number 1.
Yeah, Zolak first. Probably T-Bone. He seems pretty athletic. I feel like
can T-Bone move though?
I know.
Can he move twist his body?
Muscular, can't turn his neck.
Yeah, he's got a large neck and shoulder
situation. No peripheral
situation.
vision at all.
I think he played football. I don't know if he's much of a basketball player. Wallach's just over there dying to say Cerrone Battle and Leroy Irvin.
That's
just say it, Wallach.
Boy, oh boy, found out again. You've already said it, so I can't.
Just say it. It's okay.
I would say probably Leroy for sure.
See?
Matt McCarthy. Matt McCarthy because he's tall.
Thank you. It's about time someone recognized my hops.
That's This is so hard. I'm so bad at basketball, and I'm not tall. Well, I'm tall for a girl, but I'm not tall for a boy. I feel like you want me to say you real bad, Fred.
What's giving you that impression?
You're staring through my soul.
No, I think you want to say me, but you don't want to do it because you don't want to do it on the air.
I feel like I could just put Joe Murray in the paint and have him stand there.
But then he's going to have to run up and down the court. This is a full court game, Kendra.
That's right.
This is a full court
It's not
game
a
of
big
basketball.
three situation. This is
Lockhart's pretty tall.
Yeah, Lockhart's an athletic kid.
Lockhart's coming off a bad knee, though. That's the problem.
That's-
What do you want someone to be
that's
like
true.
Chief in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Just stand there and turn around and put the ball in the hoop.
She desperately doesn't want to say my name. It's the problem. She keeps thinking, her brain keeps coming over to me.
Can I take your kid? Can I take your kid?
Kendra?
You cannot take.
Can I take
my kid.
Milo?
You cannot take my
I can't
kid.
draft Milo.
No.
Ugh.
All right. Listen, it's obvious that you're uncomfortable mentioning my name. That's fine.
What's your name again?
Oh.
Why would she even do that? Even in jest.
Give Wallach a 100-meter gold medal winner pick.
Yes.
I don't have
Who's going to win the sprint?
I don't
Okay,
know.
so
I'm not
I think
sure.
it's
I care about.
isn't there a huge
Shaqiri, I'm
favorite?
not
So this is
watching.
they're
The guy from the United States is a huge favorite, right?
No, he is not the
Ooh,
favorite. The
no.
favorite is Kishane Thompson from Jamaica, plus 130. So how many?
They never do well, the Jamaicans in
That's right.
sprinting.
They always fail.
Noah Lyles
Not
from the
very
U.S.
fast.
is also among the two favorites, I would say, at plus 165, and then you're talking like plus 750, plus 1500 higher odds. So those are it sounds like it's kind of either going to be Thompson from Jamaica or Lyles from the U.S.
All right. Well, she'll be back before all that happens.
I have
so
a
you get on that.
degenerate
Yes.
swimming thing.
Go ahead.
This
Real
is
quick.
super degen.
What do you got?
There's a kid named Caleb Dressel who's never lost a gold medal. He's 7-0 for medals. So I know that he's not doing any like relay anything this year. In the past Olympics he has. So any individual events that he has that I happen to just turn on and watch, I'm gonna throw some hee hee ha ha schmeckles on Caleb Dressel. So that's our boy. That's our boy.
Caleb Dressel.
Caleb
All right.
Dressel.
You know what I would wish they would do during the shooting contest? Put their weapons down and hug each other.
Yeah.
Period.
Everyone put their bows and arrows down during.
I don't know what
archery.
time of the month it would be, but they would put their weapons down. and hug
Malik,
each
we
other.
gotta get you to the arcade.
You're going to the F1 arcade.
I need to see Wallach on a sim.
You should go see Kendra at the F1 arcade. It's actually really fun. There's a ton of people there, and it's in the morning. So if you want to drink in the morning and
It's
not
not
feel guilty,
always the morning though.
it's when it's in the morning. It's very crowded. I'm sure it's even more crowded in the afternoon, and there are people drinking. So if you want to drink and not feel guilty, that's always a big thing. It's like the 9:30 kickoff on Sundays at the England game. It's like the whole reason that people fake liking soccer is that they can drink early in the morning.
I'm trying to think of who I missed for this starting five now.
Kendra, you can really and realize how many people you hurt is what's more important. Where can people find you on social media, Kendra Middleton?
If you want to keep up with whenever Hardy's schedule opens for this video, it's
We're hoping for next week.
we. That was. I'm glad that you said we. Look at us. Who would have thought?
You two crazy kids.
At Kendra Middleton on Instagram, at Kenny with an I on Twitter.
And
Send me some hate mail.
And you can see her with the aforementioned Danny Lifshatz on 7 to 9, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
On Saturday mornings. The over-under 98.5. Kendra, thank you so much. As always,
I'll see you next Thursday, Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thursday works, I think. Double check.
Well, we'll all be here.
Pencil it in.
Unless I'm
I brought all
crushed.
my filming equipment today.
You did?
phone?
No, I have a camera, a tripod.
It's
lights,
a professional
microphones.
operation, Hardy. All right.
I was
listen.
gonna get behind the scenes.
That would be great.
Oh yeah, you got to
Gotta get a blooper reel.
Yeah.
The more
A lot of hits on that.
like the end of Cannonball Run. All right, have a good time, Kendra. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Enjoy your vacation, boys.
Oh yeah, big vacation. It's a lot of fun. You get to go sit in Charleston in July, waiting for time to pass. All right, Kendra is leaving. Thank you, Kendra. We'll be right back in just a moment. Morning on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and I have to tip my cap to them. When you get in there, they can be very, my understanding, very negative towards the show. But if an outsider comes in and starts poking around, they will protect. The YouTube people are like a older brother. They kind of dicks to you, but then if someone comes in from the outside and tries to be a dick, then they pounce. Billy, we could utilize those people in almost a pest-like way, if need be. Just keep that in the back of your head. Looking for a great deal on a new Ford? Go to the Best Ford in Nashua. Head to thebestfordinc.com. I've been getting a lot of these emails, so I just want to share it with you. It says, and it is not so much that I'm right, is that I want to play the audio. Freddie T nails it again. Just stumbled across, this is from Corey, just stumbled across a video on the TikTok of your Nostradamus prediction of the music world. Machine Gun Kelly is making a country record with none other than Jelly Roll. Keep flying high, Freddie T, and hope you get laid soon. I'm doing all right. Let's be honest. I'm doing fine.
Having a lot of sex, are you?
I mean, I mean, I can make a lot of stuff to put myself in. Sure. I mean, I'm not bragging, but I'm a bit of a craftsman. Got a lot of ideas.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, I've only injured myself a couple times, but when you play with fire, literally. All right, so here is Machine Gun Kelly. Now, who is Machine Gun Kelly? He's a white rapper who knew that was going to end when Kill Shot by Eminem came out. It was a diss track to Machine Gun Kelly. And that kind of was it for Machine Gun Kelly. So he came out with a punk album. He played a festival where I guaranteed you that he was going to get booed off stage. That was met with a lot of pushback that he was not going to get booed off stage, and he literally was booed off stage at that festival because it was a festival where they were not going to like him. And so when all else fails, what audience will accept a white guy with a lot of tattoos with not a lot of talent? Look no further than the world of country music, where Jelly Roll, in my experience, was an Alabama rapper before he started doing country music. That's my understanding. But he's got a good voice, Jelly Roll, and seems like a decent guy. But this is Machine Gun Kelly and Jelly Roll.
Lonely road, take me home.
That's enough.
Lonely road.
Yeah, not country road. Lonely road. So he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stealthily, and for you, those of you that aren't music experts, that is very similar to Country Road by John Denver.
Lonely road, take me home.
You like the breakback beat in the back? Just keep it in hip hop.
This is the Kid Rock playbook.
Oh, it's exactly the Kid Rock playbook.
It was Sweet Home Alabama, right?
And Where Wells in London. Yeah, so that is what he did. He took Country Road, put a
12-second
breakbeat
snippet that they released.
Yeah, put a breakbeat behind it.
All right.
And that's his contribution. And I bet you anything, it's a mild hit.
Mark your calendar. It is dropping Friday.
Jelly Roll has got a huge, very loyal audience that he grew organically, so I'm not going to hate on him for that. He did it like person to person.
Now, I'm glad
I root for Jelly Roll.
I'm glad you brought up Jelly Roll because he played the Rock the South Festival recently in Cullman, Alabama, along with Eric Church and Hardy.
I like Eric Church, but I more like going to church.
Of course. But there was another special guest who went out on stage as, because at these festivals, it's not just about the musicians. It's about the celebrities that you bring out there. And who do you think they brought out? I'll give you. No, it is someone who has been adopted by the Trumpers and by the right-wingers as their own before her 15 minutes presumably were up.
Oh, the Hoptua girl.
Hoptua girl at the Rock the South Festival. Here she is on stage.
Let's hear it for Warren Satters and Jelly Roll! Woo! All right, y'all give it up for Haley! All right, y'all.
Oh, no. It's over.
But
it's over.
It is over.
Crowd didn't get that pop she was looking for.
It is over, but if you're the Hoptua girl, would you have done anything differently? Like, how could have she slow played the Hoptua thing? If I'm the Hoptua girl, I'm taking everything they invite me to. She just got backstage to some dumb festival that she probably liked all the stupid bands in. And for what? She was funny when she said it, but it wasn't even like that dirty a thing. It was a fairly common practice. And at least I do it all the time. And but the Hoptua girl, like when people make fun of the Hoptua girl, I'm like, what did you want her to do? Like say no? The one guy got mad at her. The boxer got mad that she was at a MMA event. Some boxer got mad about it, and she got VIP treatment to like a big MMA fight. There were real stars there in the audience. Like Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff, or whoever. Like big like real stars. What do you want the Hoptua girl to say? No, I'm slow playing this thing. I'm overexposed. I'm gonna say no to this. Every one of us would do the same thing. I would do the exact same thing. Well, she's selling like dumb clothes. So what? So if she could make $10,000 off saying Hoptua, spit on that thing, then make 10 grand. Well, it's going to go away. Yeah, no kidding. That's why she's smart.
Yeah, that's why you got to get it now.
So do you want to go to a festival? Look, you're going to go on stage and they might boo you or they might just ignore you. but you get to go because you're dumb and you like all these dumb bands. Come to this dumb festival and hang out all weekend, drink for free, and hang out with the bands. If you like them, they'll probably some of them will hook up with you to say they hooked up with the Haktua girl. If I'm the Haktua girl, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going. And who loses? So for 2 seconds, you ignored me, and now for the rest of the weekend, I'm out, having a contest with Jelly Roll.
Well, it appears that maybe she won't be going to as many festivals as she thought she was going to this summer, just based on her reception at that one.
But I think that with the Haktua girl, it was fast enough where it's like not going to break her heart.
No, I don't think so. She'll be fine. Now,
And she's almost like the I Like Turtles kid.
Well, that kid has lived on.
Yeah, he's an adult now.
We got an email here, Fred.
I love it.
With you on the ASMR stuff, Freddie.
Yeah.
I've always been kind of a bad sleeper, so I'll dip into the ASMR world all the time. There's a woman named Solfrid who whispers and eats food, who I find so relaxing. Videos put me to sleep every time.
Yeah, if I'm going to see the face of the person doing the ASMR, it's got to be a woman. But I'd prefer an older male voice where I can't see the face.
Come on. Let's talk about baby. Let's talk about Jade. Let's talk about all the good things that maybe. Let's talk about.
You may be glad that you did.
He's got a new video out with his 2 fanciest pens he's ever bought.
He's got a bit of a southern accent, too,
yeah.
which I think gets to you.
Big Green Bay Packer fan, but lives outside of Atlanta, to my understanding, based on his matchbook collection.
How often are these videos rolled out?
Well, unfortunately, his wife died. And
that's too bad.
I know everything about him, but so they don't come out very often anymore. And it's been around for a long time. And to be honest, it doesn't have the same effect on me as it did like 10 years, 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah, you watch enough of them. Even Bob Ross.
Now that Bob Ross is like smoking weed, and I've been doing like mainline and heroin now.
Yeah.
like Bob Ross is
Sure.
is like a quaint high.
Right.
That's never going to affect me again.
nostalgia.
That's smoking dandelions.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'd have to be like ASMR free for like 2 decades for that to ever affect me again. And then I'd be right back into the hard stuff. It is weird though that have you ever been on the phone with you guys? Don't get ASMR though, right? Like you don't get the feeling.
It does not. It does nothing to me.
Have you ever been talking to someone and then it starts happening and you just find yourself sometimes when you're talking to Fluto Shinzawa when I have headphones on. If I was just talking to him personally, it wouldn't happen. But sometimes when Fluto talks, I get ASMR.
No,
and I just and I sit there. I don't want to say anything. And I just get I get the tingly feeling.
We should have him on more often then.
I get it very easily. I'm very prone to it. I think it's because I'm so creative and so empathetic.
It's not. Again, whatever gift or skill they possess, it's not so much about them. It's about you and your gifts and why you're able to
I think it's
them.
why I'm such a great lover.
Yes,
is the same
that's
way
it.
as why I'm so receptive to ASMR is that I'm so sensual.
There was a story yesterday, Fred, that broke while we were on the air that I only got a chance to read about last night.
So many jokes.
That is the man in Maine who was arrested for allegedly shooting at the kids who were doing the ding-dong ditch.
Yeah, are you sure this wasn't Lauren and Wally pulling some shenanigans down the hall?
30-year-old man, because when you're 30, enough of the nonsense, He's probably been a homeowner for, 4 or 5 months already.
I've never understood why Ding Dong Ditch bothers anyone. Even looking back to when I was a kid, I don't get why that bothers people.
Shortly after 1 a.m. on Saturday, law enforcement went to the area of Waterford Road and Depot Street in Harrison for a report of gunshots and screaming. Officers found blood in the roadway, and at around the same time, a gunshot victim. They determined a group of teenagers had approached the home of one Vincent Martin, knocked on the door, and ran away. When he came to the door, Martin opened fire.
Oh, well, I mean, that's his right. I mean, it's his property. He can do whatever he wants.
Took out his handgun, they don't say what kind, shot at the teens numerous times, striking one victim in the right calf, causing serious but non-life-threatening injuries.
My kids and my ex-wife have keys to my house. And they really do need them. My ex-wife actually needs the key to my house, and I have one at her house because there's so much in between. But if you ring my doorbell at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going downstairs to let you in. Like, I'm not coming. I had a guy get all mad at me because my dog got out, and my dog ran into the back into the backyard, and he came back there, and he's like, I was ringing your doorbell, and you didn't come to the door. And I'm like, yeah. I have to come to the door because some lunatic's out in front of my house? Like, no, I didn't come to the door. He's like, is this your dog? And I go, yeah.
Someone rings your doorbell, and if you don't know who they are, you won't answer the door?
If it would be an inconvenience, yeah, I won't answer the door. And I have Ring, so I can see who it is. Yeah, who would it be? Like Mormons? Jehovah's Witnesses? Someone doing a political poll?
Is that what you thought he was?
Yeah. I thought he was like someone he was kind of creepy looking. I didn't think he was Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, yeah.
I thought he was peddling something. He had a bad suit on. He had a bad suit on. But it turned out he was a nice guy who just was asking me about his dog, but he looked all strange and he was in my backyard. And I'm like, get out of my backyard. And he's like, you didn't come to the door. And I go, yeah. And then it annoyed him. And he's like, why didn't you come to the door? And I'm like, because I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to come see you. This isn't. I know you're a big Andy Griffith.
No, I tend to answer the door when someone knocks or rings the door.
Do you,
yes.
John?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I don't.
He's just lucky you were home because you've left that dog outside for days. When are you leaving the dog outside before you go to Charles?
No, it's too cold.
Did you thank him for pointing out the fact that your dog had gotten out?
I said thanks,
Okay.
the dog ran back by himself. Like, it wasn't like he did anything. I'm just like, oh, thanks.
What is
my dog was in the driveway.
What is the dog doing this weekend?
Oh, Jesus. That's right. I'm going out of town. I got to do something. No, he's at boarding. I put him in a kennel.
Has he been there before?
He has.
Oh, does he like it?
He likes other dogs, man.
Yeah,
he likes
yeah.
playing with the other dogs.
Some dogs
we haven't talked about.
Get all excited when they.
He was pretty excited.
Yeah, when they go to their,
He's gotten to the age where he doesn't want to leave me, because he's gotten fairly attached. But when he heard other dogs, he got like, all right, dude, I got to go. He's like, you can hear there's a party going, man. He's like, I hear some chicks. It was nice. See you next weekend, dude. So, yeah. I see you trying to catch me. That dog's plenty well taken care of. There's plenty of squirrels to chop the heads off of. You can see that at Fred Toucher on Instagram.
Okay.
Enjoy your trip, Fred.
And 12 says, does alcohol count as ASMR? No, because you get too horny during it. Yeah, I'm off to Charleston. Delta, feel free to cancel that flight if you need pilots.
Or for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah, if it's more convenient for you guys. Just do it before I get to the airport.
Boys, we're live at Gillette. Zolak and Bertrand.
All right, guys.
Coming up next.
You enjoy your next couple days. That'll do it for us, everyone. Have a great weekend.